3, 2, 1. It's another episode of Spoil the Beans, and we have a very, 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 very special guest. A nice young lady that I met on the street. I just met her. Her name is Dulce, the Moonchild.
The Moonchild, that's me.
Dulce Mac.
Dulce.
Dulce Mac is the shit, bro. She's a comic here in Austin and a good friend of Samantha's. And one time we all did mushrooms, and out of nowhere she raised up and said, "I am Dulce Mac, the Moonchild, father of Longhorn, daughter of Running Wolf."
That's not the story I remember, but that one's cooler. So we will go with that.
She is also a ladybug, more black with red spots than red with black spots.
Yeah.
You know?
Which, you know what that means.
We all know what that means. Dulce is my favorite because she sounds like a Sesame Street character. And I think that's fucking pretty cool.
I've never watched Sesame Street in English, so I'll trust you.
Wait, what do they sound like in Spanish?
They have different voices.
Golly. Oh,
Yeah.
Dulce is also an actual beaner in that she listens to this podcast. And she's also a beaner in that she is Mexicano.
Deric, I'm not Mexican.
She's Italian.
I'm
is.
South American, Venezuelan. It's next to Colombia.
You're like Fez.
Yeah, he's from there.
Dude.
From Venezuela.
Dulce is literally Fez from that 70s show. And that's how she is in our lives. Yeah. That's who she is to us. That's who she is to us in our everyday lives. But I'm so excited you're here for the podcast today. You
Me
just
too.
listened to your first episode of Spoil the Beans yesterday, right?
I did.
Did you like it?
I did like it. It was fun.
It was fun?
Yeah, I was entertained.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite people. I think you guys will realize as the episode goes, the way she talks is so fucking stupid. Yo, Dulce, I'm so excited to tell you a movie. So can I ask you this before we get into it? What is love?
What is love?
Yeah.
Sacrifice.
Yo, there you go. That's actually fucking pretty good.
Fun.
Uh-huh.
And fun.
Sacrifice, fun, and a little bit of more fun on that.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good answer, Dulce. And that was Dulce's love segment on Spoil the Beans. We like to start off with a segment, but I don't like to let the guests know what the segment is.
All right.
She
So
killed
it's
it.
about love.
Today's episode is all about love.
All right.
And
Great.
finding love and keeping love.
Are you going to tell us where to find it? Because I need some.
Dulce is loveless.
Yes.
That's why I wanted to tell her this movie. Oh, also, today is a very special movie. And Dulce, how come? Are you a girl? Are you a young lady? Do you like the movie theaters?
I do like the movie theater. I like to go alone.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a loner in the theater.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, I respect that. I've never done that. I have friends, but that's cool that you do that. Sam's looked at me like, "Derek, why are you so mean?" Because Dulce is cool. I've gone to the movie. I have only gone to the movie by myself maybe like once or twice in my whole life.
Well, it's not like a sad thing. It's just people. You have to talk to them, coordinate how to get there, and yeah, I just go.
Dulce likes to go, but and do you, as a kid, would you ever watch lots of movies on television?
Yeah.
You were one of those?
Definitely. I also watched a lot of CSI, which is probably bad.
Okay. Interesting. I'm always interested in because the movie we're doing today is a very big movie, and it's very interesting you haven't seen it. And today's movie is brought to you by a young man named Joshua Rowry. I hope I'm saying your last name right. Rory or Rowry? What he did, Dulce, was he paid a lot of money for us to tell this movie, for me to tell this movie to someone.
That's nice.
Yeah, he's a big fan. So throughout the episode, just remember that this is all Josh's fault.
Okay.
Josh did this.
I'll
to
never
you.
forget.
Never forget and never forgive him as well. Are you ready to do the episode, Dulce?
I'm ready.
before we start, can you do me a small favor?
Sure.
Can you tell me what you think happens in the absolute 1990s classic, Oscar-winning film, Jerry Maguire?
Wait, I thought you switched it.
I'm a little trickster boy.
Jerry Maguire, what I think happens?
I lied to her. She thought she was going to get something else, but I'm a little trickster boy.
Well, just based on the title?
Based on the title and whatever you know and how you feel in your heart. What is your version in your head of Jerry Maguire? What do you think it's about?
I've heard nothing about this movie at all.
Unbelievable.
It's probably about Lizzie McGuire's dad.
Unbelievable. Oh, God. Okay. It's about Lizzie McGuire's dad. And what happens? What happens with Lizzie McGuire's dad? Can you tell me what happens?
You know, it was his turn to shine. He had a band that he always wanted to work on. So when Lizzie went to school, he decided to pursue his dream of music. But then he goes through a divorce.
Fuck.
And
fuck.
He gets another girl pregnant and goes to rehab.
Yo. Jerry Maguire, the father of Lizzie McGuire version, is like just like A Star Is Born or something. It's like fucking deep.
Yeah, and then he wins a Grammy. Yeah, that's the end of the movie.
Yo, did you ever watch? You know what's funny? I've never seen any of the Lizzie McGuire movies.
I haven't seen them in a long time, but I did love the movie.
Have you ever seen the Lizzie McGuire movie, Samantha Lee Lopez?
Yeah, of course.
This is what dreams are made of.
Can I watch the show?
Yeah. That's great. That was honestly one of the best guesses I've heard in a while. You got none of it right. You were a little bit around 0%, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You get to be completely surprised by this movie. I'm very curious how you're going to take it. This is a like American iconic classic movie. Like a lot of like very famous lines and the actors who were in it, and it was like such a thing in the 90s. It was the thing in the 90s. This movie.
Can't believe I missed this one.
I know.
I tried to keep up with all the references, but I missed this one.
I'm very curious. There's a lot of famous lines in this, and I'm very curious if you're going to be like, I've heard that.
All right, let's go.
I'm Dulce. I've lived 100 lives. I'm the moon. I am the moon.
My lives are sponsored by the moon.
My nigga. And on that note, we will be right back. And we'll take a quick commercial break. Hey, Bean Mafia. That's right. The Bean Mafia gang has stepped up. Spoil the beans. We're here. We got a real ad, baby. This is a real motherfucking ad. Manscaped. That's right. That's Manscaped. You heard me correct. Everyone out there who has been listening to this podcast forever, we got a real product backing us, supporting the Spoil the Beans lifestyle, supporting the Spoil the Beans movement. And you know what's nice is this product is actually the shit. I've never used Manscaped. I've never used Manscaped before. I'm not going to lie. This is the first time I ever used it. Holy shit. Not kidding. Holy shit. Holy shit. It's amazing. It is
Top tier.
Top tier. Sam likes the new package.
I dig it.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm talking about my package. This is incredible. Your boy, you know, I'm gaining girth. You gain girth. You gain length. Fellas, Manscaped. You're giving yourself inches, baby. And if Al Pacino didn't say anything, he said, life is a game of inches. You haven't seen this movie yet. Any given Sunday.
I was like, what?
Any given Sunday.
That?
Life's a game of inches. Nigga, Manscaped. That should be their fucking slogan. It's a game of inches. Life. Your penis. Manscaped. Dude, I love it. Spoil the Beans. That is our promo code. Literally type in Spoil the Beans. Get 20% off. Guys, let me go through how good this is. See this right here? You see this?
It's a...
This bad boy, excuse me, is the lawnmower. The
lawnmower.
Lawnmower 4.0. Dude, I use this, shaved my balls in 10 minutes. Hadn't shaved in like half a year, probably. You know what I mean? Shaved, tire sack, 10 minutes. Unbelievable.
But you're not even nearly as hairy as I am. Hey, for the ladies who are listening to this, you can also use this to shave you. I'm a very hairy lady. I'm a kind of a fuzzy person. What?
She's a fuzzball, dog.
I'm a fuzzball. I'm like a tennis ball.
She's a fucking tennis ball.
I am a tennis ball up in here. And this is very handy, I will say.
Love it. The 4.0.
So
the
quick.
Lawnmower 4.0.
Trimmed my fuzz.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, Manscaped, let me tell you something about the 4.0. They engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and incredible, comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to our advanced skin-safe technology. I now feel confident shaving my boys. That is true. I had no nicks.
I wasn't nervous at all.
Yeah, I had zero nicks. And I've shaved my balls plenty of times with other razors and other things like that. You know what I mean? And literally always a nick or two, which sucks because your balls, you don't want your balls bleeding all day.
Yeah, that's gross.
Because it's
You're
nonstop.
not
A lot of
supposed
blood
to
down there.
bleed.
Yeah, so you just don't want that. You know what I mean? I didn't know this also. I'm one of the first people, me and you, Samantha, to try the new 4.0, and I am blown away by the performance. I literally am. It's phenomenal. It really is. This upgraded trimmer includes a multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock. It really can. You can lock it if you need to. It also gives you the ability to turn the 400K LED spotlight on and off whenever needed for a precise shave.
I looked up how
Oh
to
my
do
God.
it.
The Lawnmower 4.0 even allows you to customize your trim through additional guard lengths with sizes 1 through 4, which is really nice. I didn't need the size length. I was going to go no trimmer, and Sam had helped me out here.
Yeah, we wanted to get a little bit of a fade going.
I wanted more of a fade. I didn't want a football, but I like the fade. Did I mention, this is very important, wireless charging. Look at this. This is wireless. This is charging right now, all right? Wireless charging, well, you got to plug it in, but it could be charging right now is my point.
It could be.
Wireless charging uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Men, if you've been shaving with the same nut trimmer on your face, you've been doing it wrong. No person wants pubes in their mouth.
Yeah, you should have one for each.
One for each. Me and Sam both have one. It's fucking awesome. It's time to get your own ball and hair and body trimmer with Manscaped to make me time the best time and enhance your confidence with some nice, smooth boys. Get 20% off, free shipping with the code SPOILTHEBEANS. All one word, Spoil the Beans, all caps. Guys, it's the name of the pod, Spoil the Beans. Easy. Manscaped, use it. Yo, let me tell you this. These are some of the things that you get. Waterproof trimmer, reduces foot odor. I didn't know that, but this does reduce foot odor.
Really?
It does. The Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer helps reduce nicks, reduces the risk of ingrown hairs, and reduces the risk of grooming accidents. I stand by all those things 1,000%. This is not because they're the first brand to support us. I genuinely fuck with this. Mm-hmm. The nose trimmer, incredible. Got all my nose hairs out.
He's got a hairy nose. That's the
I
one
do
thing
have a
that
very
is
nose.
very hairy.
I'm not really a hairy guy. My
He's
balls
not.
a little bit, but my nose
But
gets
your
pretty hairy.
nose needed.
I loved this. The crop preserver, the ball deodorant, genuinely found it refreshing on my testes.
You felt
It
refreshed.
added a little spice. You know, it really did. I wasn't mad about it. I really wasn't. The crop reviver, the ball toner, also felt good on my balls. I love this bag that they come with. This is just nice for because I
This
travel
is
a
called
lot.
The shed.
Is that what it's called?
That's what it says on here. The shed. It's
The shed, the travel
storage
bag. I travel a lot,
They have
so
cool
I've been
stuff.
using it on the road. Unbelievable kit, unbelievable package. I've been putting my other toiletries in this, but it's phenomenal, dude. Everything they sent us, I've been using. Every single thing. Sam uses them,
I did. I had to trim the fuzz.
dude. If you're in a
can both-
couple, get two. Get the 4.0
Yeah, get two.
lawnmower. Unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fucking for fellas. If you got a hairy nose, get the weed whacker. 1,000% recommend the weed whacker if you got a hairy nose. Ball fucking deodorant, the crop preserver, unbelievable. The toner, unbelievable. God, the Lawnmower 4.0, seriously. I genuinely loved this product. It is so worth it. It's just, I shaved. I'm going to probably shave again in another week. Took me 10 minutes. Crop the area. More inches.
It took you less time than 10 minutes.
Did it? It felt so fast.
It was very fast. Maybe
was
like
quick.
2 songs.
It was 2 rap songs. So we're talking,
rap
it might be 6
songs?
minutes. Probably, yeah, right. 6 minutes if we're being all the way honest. 6 minutes. Your boy was fresh shaved up. We had incredible sex. Can I guarantee the great sex you'll have? I can't guarantee that. I can hope for it. I'll hope for it.
We can put that energy into
I'll
your
put that
future.
energy. If you use Spoil the Beans, Manscaped,
20%
promo code,
off.
20% off, plus free shipping, I will put that good energy if you're going to have good sex after you Manscaped. I'm going to put that out there on you.
That's free, man.
That's for you. Guys,
lady.
Spoil the Beans. The promo code's right here. Use it. Don't lose it. All right, 20% off. And Manscaped, thank you so much, man. You guys, this
Thank
was
you,
amazing.
Manscaped.
We really appreciate it. We love you guys. Thanks for supporting the Bean Mafia. And back to the movie. And we're back.
Hey.
Dulce just inform me that that whole Jerry Maguire movie about Lizzie McGuire's dad that she just told was really just the story of John Wayne. And his trials and tribulations right now.
You don't have to snitch on me.
I got a snitch, bro, and I named her. She's talking shit about you, John.
I love you, John.
Wait, are you gonna go see him live when he comes to Austin? Liz Splata's gonna go see him. I convinced her to go.
I don't know if I can afford to go to him.
Don't say you have 2 dogs.
I know, exactly.
You gotta stop buying dogs, bro.
But they're so cute and fluffy.
Yeah, you have big flesh. She has those big. What are those kind of dogs you have?
Chow chows.
Dude, they're huge. They look exactly like her. It's pretty
They're
insane.
huge. They look exactly like her.
Well, they have puffy cheeks. And
That's
then,
true.
same hair.
Yeah, they kind of look like me. They're also kind of rude.
Okay, you're like, they look like me. They do not act like me. I have manners. All right, don't say. Mac. What does Mac stand for? Mac Miller?
No, my last name is Malpica, and then I was trying to make a shorter email, and I was like, Mac is shorter.
And then now that's your stage name.
Yeah.
That's fucking lit, dog. Don't say Malpica. I'm so excited to tell you this movie. Are you ready? Bro?
Ready.
Yo, my homie. Thanks for coming. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. You live 9 minutes away.
Dude, that's how I get my guests. Distance. if they live close. Credits roll. Jerry Maguire. Okay?
Okay.
You hear a voiceover. You see, like, the world.
What kind of font is it?
Actually, that's a good question. It was like a 90s font you'd see, like, on most movie titles in that era, and red.
Okay. I knew it. I knew it was red.
Red coloring, because that's like a very 90s look. Like, the white case was a white case. He had a white shirt on pretty much the whole movie. You know what I mean? Well, yeah. Nobody's ever asked that question, but I do know what I do remember. Jerry Maguire. So you see the world, like the globe, and you hear a voiceover, right? And you hear, this is the world. It has 6 million people on it. And it's like a guy talking like really fast. He's like, see that? That's America. And that place right there sets the tone for the world.
That's true.
Dude, she's not from here. Anybody knows it's Dulce Mac, Pika, Miller. And then you see a white kid, like 13, he's playing basketball, right? And he goes, Indiana, Clark Todd, 13 years old, best point guard in the country. And then you see a girl doing like gymnastics. Erica Sorgi, 12 years old. You'll see her in the next Olympics. And then you see another guy, like another girl, like a girl boxer. He's like Dallas Mall, 16. She's like open the door for women boxing. And then Odessa, Texas. And you see a guy throwing a football. He's like the great Frank Cushman. 28 teams will all be falling over him for the first round pick in the next NFL draft. And he's all mine. Okay? You see.
All his.
All his. He goes, you have some kids pop, some kids don't, but you don't have to worry about that because I'm the guy you don't see. And then we see a guy in the background with a suit on, a shark, the fucking GOAT, Tom Cruise.
Okay.
He's the lead in this film. Do you think Tom Cruise is sexy?
Absolutely not.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Can I show you what he looks like in this movie? Just so you can see his face, just so you can see what era of Cruise, even though he doesn't really age, if we're being all the way honest. The dude
And
looks,
he doesn't grow either.
and he just, Dulce, you don't like short guys?
No, my dad's 5 feet tall, and
Yeah, you told me.
I've had to live through that enough.
That's what he looks like in this era of Tom Cruise. Just so you can
Okay, the face is good, but have you seen that thing where his tooth is not in the center?
see. Yes.
So he still has that. So if he doesn't smile, yes, hot.
I will say this too. He is very shredded. The dude's in pretty good shape.
In this
In
movie?
this movie, he's shredded. He takes his shirt off. He's extremely cut, Sam. And also, there's no movie where he's not shredded, ever. He stays in good shape because of all the Mission Impossible movies.
Or they
Do you want
make
me to
him
show you a picture of
look.
Tom Cruise with his shirt off? Sam is like denying like Tom Cruise is shredded, as if I don't know who's shredded or not.
Okay, but did you know they make him look taller in every scene?
I do know that he is like Kevin Hart short.
So they could make him look shredded too with makeup. I don't
They can make him
trust
look
Tom
shredded.
Cruise.
Yo, don't say Tom Cruise is an American. He is America. He's the closest to Captain America in real life that we'll ever get, bro. Tom Cruise is everything. I will say this. He does represent like what like the idea of like an action movie star. Just like this iconic name, and everyone knows it, and he just always puts out movies, and it never stops, and he never ages, and he clearly drinks baby's blood. You know what I mean?
That's true. I do that too.
Don't say, stop. So he goes, we see our boy, all right, Jerry Maguire, and he's like, I'm a sports agent. And we see him glad-handing like an entire room full of business people. And he's just like a shark. You know what I mean? Like he's talking fast. And he's like telling people like how I'll kill for him. And I'm an animal for you. And he's just shaking hands and making deals. And just like, you know, kind of like what you'd imagine a piece of shit, like high powerful agent would be like. You know? So he said, inside this building, you see this huge corporate office. He's like his SMI, 33 out-of-shape agents guiding the careers of thousands of the best, most finely tuned athletes in the world. He goes, and I guide the lives of 72 of my own personal clients. I get an average of 700 calls a day, and it's what the fuck I do. And we see him working on the phone. He goes, I will not rest until he's like talking to somebody. He's like, I'm not going to rest until you're holding a Coke, playing a board game, on a commercial broadcast during a Super Bowl. You're playing it. That's what the fuck kind of businessman I am, and that's what I make happen, right? And then it cuts to, and he goes, but the credits are still rolling while this is happening. Like this is how the movie starts.
All right.
Okay. And he's like,
Can you see him?
Can you see him while he's saying all this? Oh yeah, like you see him, like you see him like making deals as you hear like a voiceover.
Okay.
So he goes, I did notice a few years ago some things weren't going right anymore. They were going wrong. And we see like one of his clients get arrested for fucking with young underage girls, and he's like defending him. You see like his clients being like really mean to kids, and he's like not saying anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's showing you like the dark side of like his job, like where he's like defending these like really bad people sometimes.
Yeah, this is why I don't trust Tom Cruise.
Well, it's just getting started. We gotta let Jerry. Let's see if he grows, Dulce. Right?
All right, let's see. I'll give him a chance.
Thank you. So he goes, and lately shit's gotten even worse. And now like the movie kind of starts. Like we see him like not in a voiceover. He's like talking now, right? And you see this dude, an athlete, like in a coma in the hospital, and his wife's crying, and the kid's there, like, you know, looking at his dad, and the doctor, like the guy wakes up, right? And the doctor's like, "Do you know your name?" And the wife's, he's like trying to remember his name. The doctor's like, "Do you know your name, son?" And the wife's like, Steve, come on." And he's like, "Oh, I'm Steve, and I play for Chicago." And he goes, "And this is my wife," and she starts crying. He's like, "And this is my son," and the son's like hugs him really big, right? And he's like, and he looks at Jerry, and he's like, "And that's my agent." And right, and then Jerry's like, "Oh, good, he's all good," and he like starts making another phone call, like just doing business, right? Like not really caring, you know. And the doctor is like telling him like, "Hey, you're gonna be out for a couple weeks," and the player's like, "No, if I play this week, I get a bonus. I gotta play, right, Jerry? I get a certain bonus." He's like, "That's right, my man." Jerry leaves the fucking doctor's office, and he's walking out, and he's on the phone. The little kid of the athlete who was just unconscious runs up, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Maguire." He's like, "My dad's had 4 concussions in the last like year. Like," he's like, what will it?" He said, "What do you think will make him stop? Like, what would it take to make him stop?" And Jerry Maguire's like not really paying attention. He's like on his phone, and he looks at him, and he's like, "Oh, kid, it would take a tank to stop your dad. It would take the National Guard to stop your dad. You know what I mean? Nothing's gonna stop that man, right, buddy? Right, sport?" And the kid's like, "Fuck you, man." And the kid like walks off, and Jerry's like he's like comes to, like he's like, "Oh shit," right? So he's looking in the mirror that night, and he's like, "Who would I become? Just another shark in a suit." And he goes home and he gets really sad, right? 2 days go by. I was at a corporate conference in Miami, and I had a breakthrough or a breakdown. And he goes, no, a breakthrough. And we see him up all night, like fucked up, right? Getting fucked up. He said, I had a simple thought I couldn't escape. I hate myself. And he's like fucked up in his hotel room, right? Just like fucked up. He's like, not only did I hate myself, I hated my place in the world.
Relatable.
This is why I did this movie for you, Dulce. This is why you don't like Jerry Maguire, because she fucking is Jerry Maguire. Dude, she's so mean to kids.
As long as I get to wear a suit, it's okay.
Yo, a nice suit is fire, right? Like a nice
Yeah.
pantsuit. Dude, Sam's going to wear a pantsuit to this wedding we're about to go to.
Hell yeah.
So sick. So, you know, he's like, he says, you know, I'm fucked up. And he goes, I had so much to say, no one to listen. And he goes, and then it happened. My aha moment. And he goes to a laptop, he starts typing. He's like, at first it started as a mission statement, and then it turned into a memo, and then it became a suggestion for the future of the company. And he goes, nights like this don't come often. But it started with 1 page and then became 25. Suddenly I was the kid my father once knew. I was happy again. I was remembering the way a stadium sounded when my client did well and how much I cared. And I remembered what I love about this job. And you know, he was like, I'm not a writer, but I remembered my mentor. And they show this old guy, this really old man who's his mentor, right? Talking to him, and he goes, the key to business is personal relationships. Never forget that. He goes, and then back to him, he goes, he's typing, he goes, it's less about clients. It's about less clients and less money. It's about taking care of our clients. It's about like caring about each one of them and their families individually. And like, he goes, maybe it sounded touchy-feely, but it wasn't no bullshit. I meant it. Like, I really wanted to like change myself, you know? He goes, I went and I wrote it all and I printed 1 million copies and I titled it, The Things We Think We Do and Not Say, The Future of Our Business. And like the guy at the counter is like looking at him and it's like 3 a.m. and he's still kind of fucked up. And the guy's like, man, this took balls, whatever you're doing, bro. And like, he's like a high guy, you know? And he's like, thanks, man. He goes, I went and I gave everyone a copy. And then I went home. The next day he wakes up, he's getting dressed. He's in his hotel. He's about to go to work. And then he's like, stops right before he walks out. And he's like, oh shit. And he gets like nervous. And he calls his assistant. He's like, hey, did all those mission statements I put in the thing this morning, did they go out?
Oh, no.
And his assistant's like, of course, yeah. We sent him out immediately. And he's like, fuck, right? And he hangs up. So he goes to work all nervous. And he walks in and he's all terrified, right? And then he gets into like the middle where like all the cubicles are and shit. And everybody sees him and they start clapping and cheering. Like, yeah, Jerry, way to talk that shit. You know what I mean? And he's like, he can't believe it, right? He's just basking in it. And then you hear the voiceover. I was 35 and I'd finally started my life.
Damn, okay.
Don't say I love you. Damn, okay. I didn't know we was going to be saying deep shit.
Yeah, it's so passionate.
He's very passionate. So while everybody's clapping for him, we see one of the agents on the side and he goes, I'll give him a week. And the agent's like, oh, I'll give him like 2, right? And they're all laughing, but they're still like clapping for him, like being all fake.
Always.
Dude, don't say knows these about these fake ass sports agents. So he's on a flight the next day, right? And he's going back home. And he's sitting next to this other rich woman in first class. And in the back of the airplane, we see our other lead of this movie, the great Renee Zellweger. You know who that is?
Maybe if
it's okay, I'll show you a picture.
me a picture.
You've ever seen Bridget Jones' Diary?
I think so.
Her.
Okay, she's blonde, right?
I got you. Wait a minute. Oh, right here. Her.
Oh, yeah.
That's Renee. She's like a great actress. Oh, my God. Cold Mountain, one of the best movies ever. She won an Oscar for it. Holy fuck. And then this movie, she's like unreal as well. But she's very good. And then, this is the kid in the movie. Ever seen Stuart Little?
Yeah.
That's him.
Cute.
He also is so unbelievable in this movie. Like, he steals it, okay? So you see her and him, and they're in the back of the plane, like, right in coach. And the kid is sick. And so she's like, bundling him up.
Is it her kid?
It's her kid, yeah. And in front class, Jerry is telling this rich woman about how he just proposed to his fiance. And the story's like bougie as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we were hiking this mountain, and the rich woman's like, oh my God, Jerry, like, just can't believe this story, right? And he's like, she looked at me and she said, hurry up, klutz. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna propose to her. She's calling me a klutz on this mountain. So I decided not to do it. And then he goes, we go back to my, like, we go back to our like 5-star hotel. And then he goes, and then when we get there, I didn't tell my assistant that I didn't do it. So she has a band playing like the song that we just got married song or whatever. And there's a video camera there and like all this stuff. And so I looked at her and I was like, well, this is the klutz you want to marry. And I proposed to her right then. And the girl's like, oh, Jerry, oh, you guys are going to be married forever, right? And he's like, oh, I know. You know, he's like, just kind of like a piece of shit a little bit, right?
Yeah. My friends were getting engaged during a hike, and he hired a photographer, and the photographer fainted before they got to the spot. And he saw her like sitting down, and he started giving her water and stuff and being really attentive. And my friend Melissa was like, why is he being so nice to this random lady?
Yo.
So there were no pictures of their engagement. She had to go to the hospital.
Damn. But you know, what a nice, real good engagement story, though. Like, on some real shit, you have such a better story than, like, anyone else. You got to make it with that story.
Yeah, they're great.
How should I propose to Sam? What do you think? How would you do it?
To Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
would
Deric, I have it all planned out.
I would do, like, a swimming competition, and then she finds the ring, like, under the water or something.
Oh, like one of those kid games where you would, like, find someone under the water? That is the sweetest thing ever. Oh,
Cute.
my God. Yeah. Actually,
you should do that.
Hey, that's actually not a bad idea. She would love that. So, you know, our girl, Renee Zellweger, is listening to Jerry Maguire. Like, she walks up to the front of the plane, and she's just, like, listening to him tell that story. And she's just like, you know, like, oh, my God, this guy, right? Cut to, they land, and, you know, they're at the baggage claim area. And the little kid is on the little machine going around. You know what I mean? Like giving people high fives and shit. And the mom's freaking out like, Ray, where are you? Ray, right? And Jerry Maguire walks up. He's like, ma'am, you okay? Can I help you? And she says, Jerry Maguire, hi. And he goes, he looks at it. He goes, I work with you. Dorothy, right? And she goes, yeah. And he like says where her office is, like where they work. And she's like, that's exactly it. And then he goes, what did you lose? And she's like, my son, my mind, Ray. And he smiles because he sees him going around the thing. And he's like, he goes, well, how about this? I'll help you find your son. But in the meantime, why don't you talk to this gentleman right here? And then she turns around and she sees him and she's like, Ray, don't you ever do that. Don't you ever do that. Never again. She's like, all right, you crazy? Like, don't ever do that to me. And then she looks at him. She's like, thank you. And he's like, oh, no problem. And then he walks off. And then she goes, I loved your memo, by the way. And he turns and he's like, just like that. He's like, you did? And she's like, yeah, oh my God. And he goes, really, it was just a mission statement. And she's like, but it was revolutionary, whatever it was. And then he goes, wow, I really appreciate that. And then he goes, I didn't even think I was going to write it. 2 a.m., I was kind of drunk, woo, right? And she's like, while they're talking, the little kid grabs both of their hands and starts swinging himself.
Cute.
Right? While they're talking. And he doesn't really notice it. And he's like, and she tells him like how inspiring it was and how you were like so vulnerable in that memo and open and naked. And just, oh my God, it meant the world to me to just see a man be like that and yada, yada, right? And he like, oh, thank you. And then she's like, is this bothering you? And he's like, no, not at all. And he goes, you guys need a ride? And she goes, what, really? And she goes, she goes, actually, my sister's here. And then she points and her sister's like, she's an older sister over there. Okay, she's picking us up. The older sister's Bonnie Hunt. I don't know if you know the actress Bonnie Hunt, but she's also like, you ever seen the original Jumanji with Robin Williams?
Yeah.
The girl, the old lady, the other old lady that they go pick up.
I forgot what she looks like.
A white woman. Imagine all your teachers.
I thought she was just fat because she had a bigger, older sister over there, but it was old.
She's clearly a lesbian, like not a lesbian. She's clearly like a bigger, butchier sister. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
Like a protector. That's like immediately the vibe because she doesn't even like that he's talking to her. She's like looking like this. You know what I mean? So. That is funny that you noticed it did look like I was saying she's fat. I didn't really mention the more like, like she's just like bowed up. So Dorothy, our boy Jerry goes, it was really nice to meet you, Dorothy, Ray. And he waves at him and he walks off, right? And she bends down and she looks at her son and she's like, whoever snagged him must be one classy broad, right? Cut to, you see this woman butt ass naked fucking the shit out of Tom Cruise. And she's like screaming, cover your eyes, don't say cover your eyes. And she's screaming, like, don't ever stop fucking me. Don't ever stop fucking me. Yes, no, this has never had better, right? And then like they finish, and then she grabs him by like the head, and she's like, open your eyes. And he's like all nervous. And she's like, if you ever wanted me to be with another woman, I would do it. She's like, and I'm not even interested in other women. I did it once in college. It was a phase. But for you, I would do anything. And she gets up, right? And he's just like, God damn.
That's real? Or you made it up?
Dulce, you think I'm that creative? To just add a sex scene in the middle of this?
Maybe.
No, that really happened.
Wow.
So that's his fiance.
I've never liked someone that much.
Yeah, I've never liked anyone that much to just scream as much as I could during sex. That'd be insane.
Don't leave me!
Oh, God.
What's your phone password?
That's what you want. What's your phone password? Yo. So cut to the next day. Our boy Jerry's at his bachelor party. All right. And all of his boys are cheering him on, yada, yada, and everybody's cheering for him. And they put on this video that they made for him. And it's his fiance going through his old black book. You know what a black book is? That's what people used to put their numbers in.
Oh, yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
especially like people getting phone numbers. Like that's what it was, like a little black book.
I remember those.
So he's like going through it, and she's saying how while she's going through it, like on this video, another agent comes up to him and says, "Hey Jerry, let's get lunch tomorrow at this spot, like 2:00 or whatever, right?" And Jerry's like, "All right, cool." And they keep watching the video, and in the video, they went and recorded every woman he's ever dated. Okay? And they're all saying the same thing. Oh, he can't be alone. He can't be alone. Oh, Jerry can't be alone. Jerry Maguire so can't be alone. And they're like, oh, and he can't commit. Like, you'll say I love you, and then he'll be like, love you too, babe. And then all of them, love you too, babe. Oh, love you too, babe. Love you too, babe. Right? And he's just watching all this shit, and his eye, this is actually he can act, because he's like watching. At first he's laughing, and then like it zooms in, and his eyes just, like he's still smiling, but his eyes are like sad. Like, yo,
this party sounds awesome.
You would like this bachelor party? Just breaking a nigga's heart? Yo, that's a fucked up thing to do for him.
Make him rethink his choices.
Also, his fiance was in on the video.
Of course.
That's so evil. What a psycho thing to do.
No, it definitely is evil if she was in on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty... Also, I wouldn't want to go through like, oh, like me and Sam are about to get married. Let me call every guy she's ever been with and ask him how it was, and then edit the video and then like edit it. Like, that's like, bro, that'd be so scary.
That takes commitment.
It takes a lot of commitment, dog. So he goes to work the next day, right? And they let him know, they say, hey, Jerry, Marcy's in your office. Marcy, you know the actress Regina King?
If I see a picture.
It's okay. You ever watched The Boondocks, the show The Boondocks? You know the cartoon
The
show?
cartoon? Yeah.
She's the voice of Huey and Riley, the two little boys. That's Regina King.
Oh, yeah.
She's like an unreal actress. She's so good. So she is in his office, right? And she's like pregnant, clearly pregnant. And she's like, Jerry? She's yelling at him right when he walks in. He's like, Marcy, look, calm down. She's like, Jerry, Rod is upset. My husband is upset. And that's why I'm here, okay? He's like, look, I'm sorry. You know I want to make your life better. How can I make your life better? She's like, well, I'm pregnant right now, Jerry, so you can't do shit. I don't want no bullshit from you. Where is our offer? We want our contract, okay? And he's like, look, I'm working on it, yada, yada. And she's like, I don't know what you do for your 4%, Jerry. You're my husband's agent. He plays hard in the NFL. He works his ass off. You know what I mean? And he has an image to uphold. And we deserve the big four. We want commercials with soft drinks, shoes. She's like, I majored in marketing, all right? And so did my husband. And we came to play. We want our motherfucking money, Jerry. And she storms out. And
I like her.
Oh, she's great. So he goes and he gets lunch with the guy. The guy who's playing this character is actually he used to be a very famous comedian. His name is Jay Moore. I don't know if you've ever heard of this man. Mm-mm. But around this time, this is what's crazy about comedy, don't say. Around this time, this guy who's playing this agent, right? He's playing one of the agents in this movie. But he was doing theater. Like, he was like, you know, killing it like Andrew Schultz or like, you know, Hannibal Buress. Like, he was the guy in movies and like doing theaters and stuff. It's like crazy how the game just changes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's weird. It's such a long game. Comedy.
Yeah.
It just keeps going, you know? And like your career is just like, it's just nuts.
But I would always take a movie.
Yeah,
if someone asked me to act, I'll be like, yeah, I don't care what it is.
You want to act?
I used to, yeah.
What about now?
Maybe. I feel like I'm too late.
Why?
Because you have to like have an agent and like audition for all this stuff, and I've never done anything.
Yeah. You know Mitzi Shore? You ever heard of Mitzi Shore?
Yeah.
The lady who ran the Comedy Store. One of my favorite things about her is me and Sam talk about this all the time. She was just a stay-at-home mom until she was like 41. That's when she started running the Comedy Store. So all these legendary things and like unreal stories and like all these cool things that happened with her in her life came after 41.
That's hopeful. I like that.
I like that too. To me, I think that's so cool because it's like, oh, bro, there is no time limit like on life.
Yeah, I
and like
feel
anything
like
you want to do.
now young people are doing everything, so it feels like there's no time, you know?
Yeah, but you never know because it's like, you never know what you're going to be right for.
Yeah, that's true.
Like one day, you know what I mean? And then you just like nail this perfect role. And it just so happened that they needed a 37-year-old Venezuelan.
37?
Wait, after we just told this story, that's all you heard. Dulce, let me tell you something. You're going to keep aging. And there's nothing we can do to stop it. One day you're going to be 37.
I thought you messed up 27 for 37.
No. I meant one day. Like,
oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
you get some, because that's what the roll call for. No, I already know that you're actually 41 or something like that. You're the moon child. You've lived a trillion lives.
True.
So our boy Jerry, he goes and gets lunch with this agent, okay, the Jay Moore guy I was talking about. And, he's not, like, clearly not thinking anything's wrong. He's like, yo, what's up, buddy? What's going on? And the guy goes, Jerry, I brought you here to fire you. And Jerry's like, like those shots in movies where, like, everything gets real loud.
Yeah,
like you're almost, like, shocked. They're like, and he's like that. And he's like, the camera comes on his face. He's like, what? He's like, it's real. I'm firing you.
So awkward.
I know. And Jerry starts looking around, and he's looking at the crowded restaurant, and he's like, "Oh shit, crowded restaurant." You knew I wouldn't cause a scene, you ungrateful son of a. And the guy's like, "Look, you did this to yourself. Fewer clients, less money. You put that shit on paper and put it out to our boss. Like, are you out of your mind? Like, this is a company. Like, you can't say shit like that. Like, the fuck is wrong with you, right?" And he's like, and then Jerry's like, fuck you, man, you're a piece of shit. And he goes, fuck me, what about me? I'm firing my mentor. Get past yourself for a second. And Jerry's like, you're going to lose. And then he goes, not only am I going to go take all my clients, I'm coming for all your clients too. And Jerry storms out. All right?
He can't just file for unemployment.
I'm sure he could. I'm sure he could. That's one way to look at life.
Movie over.
And Jerry Maguire fired for unemployment. So he runs out and he gets to his office and he's trying to call all of his clients, right? And he runs into his office, but nobody's answering. So he's calling his clients, but the other guy, the Jay Moore guy, is already calling all of his clients and like telling them like, yo,
shady.
He's saying Jerry went crazy. He lost his mind. He's like been saying wild stuff, and that's why we had to let him go. Just like backstabbing shit. And all the other clients are like, oh, okay, I guess I'll stay with you guys, right? And he can't get a hold of anyone, right? And he finally gets a hold of some people, and like when he does, it's too late. Like one of the guys is like a black client, and he's like, Jerry's like, he said what? He said, I don't like black people. I'm Mr. Black People. I love black people, right? And finally, he gets our other lead on the phone, the guy who actually won Best Supporting Actor, the Oscar for this movie, Cuba Gooding Jr.
Picture.
Dulce. She hasn't known who anyone is yet, and it's honestly the fucking most awesome thing I've ever heard in my life.
I know.
She didn't know who Regina King was either.
No, well, I know her when she...
Yeah, she's his wife.
When you pull up the picture, I know who they are.
That's Cuba.
Yeah, I know who that is.
And
I just don't know their name.
Does she know Renee?
This is what he looks like in Jerry Maguire, so you can see he looks really good. Like, you know what I mean? He's got himself put together.
I knew them all when he showed me the picture.
So, okay, but remember when she was yelling about her husband?
Yes.
He's the husband.
Okay.
Okay. So he's like, Rod, he's like, just Jerry Maguire. And you see him and he's shirtless and he's going off. He's like, Jerry, I'm sweating. I'm motherfucking sweating, dog. I want my next contract. You hear what I'm saying? I want my motherfucking money. And then he's like, do you realize how valuable I am? Do you know how valuable I am? And you see like he has a little son who's like 5. And he's like, I know how valuable you are, daddy. He's like, I'm a valuable commodity, Jerry. I go across the middle, I get killed, touchdown. I don't give a fuck. I'm from Arizona. I went to Arizona State. I play for Arizona. I got to get Arizona dollars. And Jerry's like, Rod, hold on, can I call you back? He's like, no, you're going to listen to me. He's like, Jerry, I got ants going down my hallway. You see he's got like ants. He's like, my brother's room is flooded. You see his brother. His brother's another comic named Ari Spears, by the way. Just a little side note. He's like, my house is falling apart. You know, I'm supposed to be a motherfucking superstar. And then Jerry's like, look, Rod, right now I need to know, are you going to stay with me or are you out? And he goes, Jerry, listen to me. I'm a role model. I want to stay in Arizona. I want a new contract. My wife likes you. You're good to my wife. And I'll stay with you for that reason. And that's what I'll do for you. But what you got to do is something for me. And it's very important and very personal family motto. Are you ready? And Jerry's like, yes. And he's like, show me the money. Have you ever heard that saying before?
No.
Dude,
show me the money?
Show me the money. And Jerry's like, show you the money. He's like, no, you got to yell at Jerry. Show me the motherfucking money. He's like, I'll show you the money. He's like, no, show me the money, Jerry. He's like, Jerry Maguire starts yelling like in his office at the top of his lungs. Show me the money. He's like, do you love black people, Jerry? I love black people. I'm going to show you the money. Show me the money. And he's like, good. You're still my agent. And he hangs up on him. And Jerry looks down. He's lost all his clients other than Rod. So he has no one left. Just Rod.
Rod's the only real one.
Dulce is about loyalty, dog. That's
Yeah.
the one thing I know about the Moonchild. Loyalty matters. So the day ends. He's walking out. You know when people get fired, they walk out with like that box, like usually when they walk out.
Yeah.
He's walking out, and he says very classic, this very classic speech. He goes, don't worry. I'm not going to do what everybody thinks I'm going to do and freak out, right? He goes, but let me just say, have you ever heard this saying before?
Which one?
What I just said?
No.
Okay.
What's
Dude,
the saying?
you're the shit. What I literally just said was a very famous
out?
thing. I'm not going to do what everybody thinks I'm going to do, which is freak out.
Oh.
People, but it's okay because you don't need to know, dog. It's fucking more gangster that you don't. He goes, let me just say, he goes, as I, ease out of this office building that I helped build, mind you, he goes, that there is such a thing as manners and a way of treating people. And these fish, and he points at the goldfish like in the big thing, these fish have manners and they're coming with me. And he gets the fish and he goes, I'm starting a new company and it's going to be sentimental and, it's going to be something real and inspiring. And who's coming with me? Who's coming with me?
Did anyone go?
And he looks around, no one says nothing. It's like, it's embarrassing as fuck. And then he looks at his assistant, he's like, well, fine, Wendy, come on. And she's like, ooh, actually, Jerry. She's like, I'm just going to stay here. And he's like, And he's like, fuck. And he goes to leave with his head down. And then Renee Zellweger stands up and she's like, I'll go with you.
Hell yeah, she will.
Don't say so funny. And he goes, Dorothy Boyd, thank you. And she whispers like, do we have to go right now? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, okay. She packs up her stuff. And people are like, what are you doing, girl? She's like, I don't know. She grabs her stuff and she leaves with him. And then this sweet music's playing and they leave together. And then Jerry's like, let's see how they do without us, right? And he storms out. And right, like 5 seconds after they walk out, everyone literally just goes back to work. Like, no one cares, right? So they're in the elevator and she goes, it's quiet. And he's like all nervous. He's like, and then she goes, I'm going to have medical, right? And he goes, I don't know, but let's not panic, okay? He goes, we're going to be great. Everything is fine. And he's clearly terrified. And then the elevator stops and a couple comes in. And the couple is signing to each other. Like they're clearly deaf, right? And Renee is watching them and then she smiles. And then the couple kisses. And then the couple like gets off on the floor and they get off. And then Tom Cruise is looking at him and he's like, I wonder what he said. And then Renee goes, my aunt is hearing impaired, so I used to live with her. He told her, you complete me.
Aww.
And he's like, and then they just ride down the rest of the elevator like awkward. No one says anything.
Is that like a clue because she completes him?
Dulce! Look at Dulce! So they get to her house, and her big sister is having like this huge, how do I say, like a woman rally. Like a bunch of
woman
divorce.
rally.
Huh?
A woman rally.
Like it's like 7 or 8 divorcees in the house, and it's like a woman, it's like a woman, and they're all just complaining about men and like how their ex-husbands are the worst and how men are the worst. Like it's just like they're clearly like it's like a meeting.
I need to start one of those.
Don't say
The divorce. Young divorced queens.
Young divorced
Thursdays, 8 p.m.
Y'all just shit on men. Not cool, ladies.
Or
Me and-
women.
I guess yeah. Or if the gay dudes, what if a gay dude wants to come and just shit on his gay husband?
Yeah.
That's cool too. So at her house, so that's going on, right? And the women are like, I used to, I was like, one of the women's like, I'm so glad we have these because I used to hate other women, and that was until I met you guys, and now I realize women are strong, and they're all like, girl, it's just like that kind of that vibe, okay? The sister is in the kitchen talking to Dorothy, and she's going off on like, yo, you can't make decisions like that, like you can't be quitting your job, you have a son, you know what I mean? Like you can't just do that just for this fucking guy. Like, do we trust this guy? Do we know this guy? And then
it's like when Pam went with Michael when he left.
Yo, it's exactly, give me some, dog. It's exactly like that. Such a good guess. 1,000,000% yes. So
Except Jerry sounds cooler, but
Jerry's a little cooler than Michael Scott, but they're both, but Michael's so lovable sometimes. Oh, he's just, do you love Michael or hate Michael?
both.
That's the only way to feel about him. Do you love Jim?
Yeah.
Love Jim? Pam?
Yes. Love Dwight too.
You love Dwight?
Mm-hmm.
I love Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin is so fucking underratedly funny.
I love Kevin.
He is so funny.
When they told Holly that Kevin was
Retarded? That shit's so funny. Okay, Dulce, you're getting me off track. We're not talking about The Office. I have to tell you Jerry Maguire. So, Jerry is home with his fiance, and his fiance is like, yo, you got to go talk to that superstar quarterback, that Cushman kid. Like, if you get one superstar back on your roster, that's all that matters. There's no loyalty in this business anyway. That's all you need. You're Jerry fucking Maguire. You're the king of the house, the master of the living room. You are not a loser. And then he looks at her and he goes, wait, who said I was a loser? And she's like, nothing wrong, word. And then she walks off, right? So Jerry flies down to go talk to the Cush guy and his dad, the star quarterback. And he goes and talks to his dad. He's like, listen, I know we spent a lot of time together, but I love you. I love your son, and I can take care of you better than that company can. And the dad goes, Jerry, we're staying with you. And Jerry's like, what? He goes, I told myself if he comes down, I'm signing with him. And Jerry hugs him so big. And the dad's like, all right. Like, not really a hugger. And he's like, thank you. And he goes, woo. And then right then, Cush comes in, the quarterback, and is like, hey, Jerry. And they let him know, like, yo, I want to go number 1 in the draft, and I want to play for Denver. And he goes, look, it'll be either Denver or San Diego. That's who's going to draft you. And the kid's like, I don't care. I'll either surf or ski. It doesn't even matter to me. And then they're like, and then Jerry's like, well, let's sign something down now just to make sure it's official that you're my client. And the dad goes, I don't do contracts, Jerry, but I'll tell you this. You have my word, and my word's as strong as oak. And Jerry's like, shakes his hand. Dulce, why'd you laugh like that? That was an evil laugh. That was an evil laugh. Like you were happy, whatever that was foreshadowing, you were happy about it. I just want to know that's how you laughed.
It's just no one, whoever says that, you can't trust them either. My word. I mean, yeah, if it's true, then why can't I write it down?
And those are facts by Dulce, everybody. So he drives home, and Jerry's so happy. And then there's this classic shot, like it's a classic meme. It's like a meme too that people use. And it's Jerry in his car, and he's singing, I'm free, free falling. And it's actually Jerry Maguire singing. And Tom Cruise. And he's singing, and he's so happy, right? And he's just singing. And he calls Dorothy, and he lets her know, like Renee Zellweger, he's like, we're back. I just signed him. She's like, oh, I'm so happy for you. And he's like, be happy for us. This is our company. We're going to do it, right? She picks him up the next day to take him to the airport, okay? The little kid is with him in the back seat because he's got school. She's like, I'm going to take him to school after I take you to the airport. The little kid goes, hey, Jerry, did you know the human head weighs 8 pounds? He also sounds like you a little bit. And then Jerry answers with like a sports fact. Like, did you know like this quarterback has like more touchdowns than anybody else in 6 years? He's like, Did you know bees and dogs can smell fear, Jerry? And then he says another sports fact. He's like, well, you know my neighbor has 3 rabbits. And Jerry's like, I can't compete with you. I just can't. They're like laughing and shit. And he's like, well, have a good day at school, buddy. And Jerry, like, he says bye to the kid. And the wife, obviously, Renee, is like, because he's being so sweet with the kid. So you can tell it's like, oh, shit. So we see Jerry cut to this draft function to be with Cushman, like the NFL draft. And he invites Rod there as well. So Rod is there, but he's not showing any attention to Rod. He's just paying attention. The one who stayed with him, he's paying attention to the guy who he doesn't know, all right? And he's just focusing on him. And finally, later on, he meets Rod. And Rod's like, yo, what am I doing here, man? Why'd you bring me here? He's like, I brought you. Hey, it's Fuckboy.
Hey,
Sign him out. Come on, say hi to the people.
Hey.
Yo, he did 9/11. Don't forget that. Don't say, did you know that he did 9/11?
Yeah, he showed me the PowerPoint.
So our boy starts hyping Cuba Gooding Jr. up, right? He's like, yo, I'm going to walk you through this lobby. Every famous company, every brand, everybody's down there, and I'm going to sell you, right? So cut to, they're going through the lobby, and he's glad-handing everybody. And he's selling Cuba Gooding Jr. Like, yo, he's the best receiver in football. He's about to get paid, yada this, yada that. He's like, he's listing all his stats. He's just being a shark, like just moving like a shark, right? So they work their way through, and
Wait, show me the money like that song?
yeah.
Hey, show me the money.
Like exactly like that.
Okay, I've heard that.
That's my girl. So they finally get upstairs. They make it through the lobby, and Cuba Gooding's happy about how like the lobby went. And he goes, Jerry, let me tell you something. You know they're shooting a Reebok commercial down there, and I want to know where my endorsements are. Where's my Energizer Bunny? Where's my Nike? You know, he goes, I got a Reebok story for you. And Jerry's like, yo, I got to get back to Cushman. He's like, I know your golden boy, your white check, yada yada, but listen to my story. Fuck Reebok. Fuck them. They don't respect me, and I don't like them for it. And he goes, Rod, for 5 minutes down there, you let people into the real you, a really nice guy, and you let that large chip off your shoulder, and you were brilliant. And he's like, man, you really do love me, Jerry. He's like, no, Rod. I was showing you the money. And then he's like, and then Rod goes, see, that's what makes me love you, baby. Where's my fucking check? And then Jerry's like, rolls his eyes, and he walks off. Okay. Jerry goes and he hangs with Cushman, the star white boy. And he's like, well, guys, to the dad and Cushman's like, we got a decision to make because San Diego just came in with a big offer. They're going to give you like $30 million with $8 million guaranteed and like, you know, a $7 million signing bonus. You know what I mean? Like, but they'll draft you number 1 over Denver. And the dad's like, well, I want him to go to Denver. And he's like, yeah, but, you know, we'll see how it plays out. Maybe Denver will trade up and give a better offer. And the dad's like, all right. You know, he's like, but don't tell anybody. He's like, well, the phone keeps ringing off the hook, Jerry. He's like, well, I'll answer it. You guys just don't answer any questions. Let me handle all this. Jerry answers the phone. It's the other agent. And the other agent goes, hey, this is Bob. Is Jerry in the room? Sniff is in the room. And Jerry goes, he goes, all right, well, don't worry about that fucking idiot, all right? You're signed with me already. You're with the big boys now. I'm going to get you the big money. I'm going to get you with Denver. You're good to go. Deal's done. All right? He said, love you. I'll talk to you in a little bit. And Jerry's like, no comment. And he hangs up. And he looks at the dad. And he goes, Matt, before I go back to Denver, I really think we should put something on paper about how your son is signed to me. And he's like, I don't know about all that. And he goes, do I know everything there is to know? He goes, you fellas aren't talking with someone else behind my back, are you? And then the dad goes, Denver was the deal we wanted, and he made the deal with Denver. And he goes, so you went with Sugar? You let him deal with Denver behind my back? And he goes, I'm sorry. And he goes, look, I love my son. He goes, I love your son. I fucking love your son. All right? He goes, I was going to bring up the $20 million, blah, blah, blah. Denver always deals with me. And the dad goes, all right, it was a rookie mistake. He goes, look, it's fine. Jerry Maguire, it's fine. I'll fix it. You didn't sign an actual contract, did you? And the dad doesn't say anything. He looks at Cush. He goes, please tell me you didn't sign an actual contract. He goes, because I'm still a little moved by your whole, my word is stronger than oak line. And then he goes, well, we wouldn't have signed the contract, but we did an hour ago because you were in the lobby with that black fella. And he's like,
how dare he? Word is bond, and he stole that too.
yo, word is fucking bond, son. Talk that shit, Dulce. So, fucking Jerry storms out. He goes and he talks to his fiance. Remember the crazy one who was fucking him earlier? And he's like, yo, what do I do? How do I spin this? And she's like, stop crying. It's always about you. And he's like, yo, like help me out. What do I do? I don't know how we're gonna help this. I think my whole life is fucked. And she's like, and she's trying to like work. She's like works for the NFL clearly. She's like, I have to finish my job. Will you back off? And then she goes, you should have just made the sale. He's like, why are you acting like this? And she's like, look, I gotta be honest with you. That was our deal. Brutal truth. I'm your fiance. He goes, you added the brutal line. Our deal was truth. Because she likes that. Dulce likes the relationship stuff. That's why I knew you liked this movie. He goes, she goes, I don't have sensitivity, Jerry. I'm not one of those girls. I don't cry at movies. I don't gush over babies. And I don't tell the man who screwed up both of our lives, oh, poor baby. Get over it. That's me, for better or worse. And he's like, wow. And he goes, it's over. And she's like, no, it's not. And she ignores him and walks off. And he goes, I'm serious. It's over. And she goes, it's not over. He goes, it's over. And she goes, she's beautiful. But she's like, no one's ever dumped me before. And he goes, I'm not trying to make history here. And she's like, I climbed Mount Everest. I can make this work, And he goes, no, you can't. And she gets sad and she's about to tear up and he gets close. And then she punches the shit out of him and knees him in the nuts. And she goes, I won't let you hurt me, Jerry. I'm too fucking strong for you. And she leaves. Is that your kind of girl, Dulce?
Yeah, I hated her until she punched him.
Really?
No, I still hate her. She's evil.
She's kind of mean.
Yeah, she's probably one of those girls that's like, all my friends are boys.
Yo, that's how Sam is. Hey, Sam, Dulce shitting on you in here, dog.
I'm friends with Sam.
Well, you're a boy. You're Dulce, the moon child. My father is a wolf. Or whatever you said.
I said my father's an engineer.
That's not what you said, Dulce.
I did.
That's not what you said. You said, I am the true Mowgli. My father raised me in the jungle. Bagheera.
I wish I would be more athletic.
That's one way to look at it. So, our boys are heading home now. They're in a taxi. And Jerry gets like, bye, Jeffrey Burner just left. Jerry's drinking at the airport, and he's like, man, Rod, why are you still with me? I'm finished. Fuck me. I'm done. 24 hours ago, I was hot. Now I'm a cautionary tale. I lost the #1 draft pick the night before the draft. I'm a loser, right? And he goes, all because some hockey player's kid made me feel bad? God, and I went to bed and I grew a fucking conscience? And then Rod's like, well, boo fucking who? He goes, listen, man, I have a shelf life in football. 5 more years max. That's the best I got. And I need a contract that's going to last me a long time, that's going to pay for me and my family for next generations, all right? He goes, I don't want to hear your shit about how I lost my little #1 draft pick. Fuck all that. Anyone else would leave your ass by now. But I'm going to stick with you, and I'm going to ride your ass like Zorro if I have to. But you going to show me the money, Jerry. And he grabs his hand and like holds it. You going to show me the money. Okay? We in this shit together. And he like holds his hand the whole flight. And Jerry's just like, oh, God. Like he's just like quitting on himself, right? So he goes home, and Jerry starts getting fucked up at the house alone.
Why?
And then he pulls out his little black book.
Oh, no.
And he calls Dorothy. He's drunk, though.
The real girl.
The real girl. Our girl, Renee. So,
nothing good happens when he drinks.
Dulce knows
What'd he do?
That's also tattooed on Dulce's back. Nothing good happens when she drinks.
True.
So Dorothy is talking to her sister, and she's like, I just talked to Jerry. He's coming over. And the older sister's like, no, what? And she starts going off, right? She's like, yo, it's just sympathy. That's all he wants, yada, yada. And then and Dorothy's like, don't worry about any of that. He's engaged. Nothing's going to happen. Dulce's face. And the sister goes, all right, well, if he comes over here and he's your boss, he better not be good looking. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, no.
And then the doorbell rings, and the sister goes and answers it, and she goes, and it's Tom Cruise, and he's got like shades on, he's kind of drunk, and he's like, hey, like smiling. And then she's like,
she's fucked.
She's like, wow, the exact way I pictured you. And she goes, hi, I'm Laurel. I'm her disapproving sister. And then Jerry hugs her really big because he's fucked up, and he goes, honesty. Thank you for your honesty. And then he walks in, and she's like, Dorothy, your boss is here. And he's like, she comes in, Dorothy's like, hey, good to see you. And he's like, where's the little guy? Where is he? And she's like, he's sleeping. It's like 11 o'clock, right? And he's like, I'm so glad you're home. He goes, I was home alone and I can't do the alone thing.
That was fast. That was like a day.
Some people can't be alone, Dulce.
That's a little illusory of him. He could have written another paper.
Yo, write another essay, bro. So he takes off his shades. She notices he has a black eye from when his fiance posts. And then she's like, oh my God, what happened? He goes, I broke up with Avery. And then he turns around and he's like, I guess it just wasn't working out. And she's like looking at her sister like, oh my God. Right? And then she's like, I think we'll still be friends, but I don't know. She's like, that cut looks bad. And he goes, imagine if I got her the ring she actually wanted. And she laughs. And she's like, look, just have a seat and I'll get some aloe vera for that cut. And then he goes, ooh, how about we have some drinks too? And she's like, okay. Right? So she goes into the kitchen and she goes in and she starts pouring drinks up for him. And the sister's like, Dorothy? And she's like, I don't want to hear it. And she's like, Dorothy, that man would go home with anything. He'd fuck a gardening tool right now.
She's right.
And the sister looks at him like, come on. And then she goes, use the nice glasses. And like she starts helping her, right? And then as they start like heating up some food, yada, yada, and they're arguing back and forth, we're like, I don't think you should do this. They accidentally spill a bunch of shit on her sweater. And she's like, fuck. So now she has to go change. While this is happening, the little kid, Ray, comes out. And he's like, hi, Jerry. And Jerry's like, Ray, aren't you supposed to be in bed? And he's like, yeah. And then Jerry's like, don't worry, I won't tell. And Ray's like, cool. And they high five. And then he goes, hey, Jerry, the human head weighs 8 pounds. And Jerry starts dying laughing, right?
I tried to weigh my head once, but
Really?
it was like 12 pounds. So I don't know what's.
That's because the human head weighs 8 pounds, Dulce. That means you're adding 3 pounds of pressure.
Oh, true. That's what happened.
Y'all didn't know I was a motherfucking scientist, did y'all, dog?
They used to call me Arnold because my head is big or something.
Yo. Dulce. Nobody ever called you Dora the Explorer?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because she's a big ass head, too.
Yeah.
So, right then, Jerry's phone starts ringing, and the little kid answers it. He's like, hello? And it's Rod. And he's like, you should be dreaming about me, maybe. You should be dreaming about making me money. I should be in your thoughts. I should be in your every sleep. I should be in your soul. You know what I'm saying? And the little kid's like, who is this? And he's like, who is this? This is Rod Tidwell, NFL superstar. You understand? And he's like, are you an NFL football player? I'm about to whoop your motherfucking ass. Put Jerry on the phone. And he's like, you cut back to the sisters are arguing. And the sister's like giving her a turtleneck and like, yo, wear this.
A
Like,
turtleneck.
and she's like, don't go out there and see this guy, yada, yada. And then Renee Zellweger goes, look, do you know what girls are my age are doing right now? They're trying to get a man. They're in the club doing everything they can to get a man and keep a man. You know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to raise a motherfucking man. She goes, I've had 3 lovers in the last 4 years, and they're all a distant second to a good book and a warm bath. I'm the oldest 26-year-old on planet Earth. And she goes, give me this. And then she grabs a really sexy top. Because that's what I feel her of like, yo, like.
That's true. People spend so much money to get laid at the club. It's embarrassing.
And if you're a mom who's like, all you do is with your son, and you're like, yo, I think this guy's fucking hot.
I would do it too.
You'd fall for Tom Cruise drunken stupor play.
Yeah.
So she puts on the sexy top, and she's like, how do I look? And the sister's like, oh, great. So Ray hangs up the phone on Rod, and he's like, you talk too much. And he hangs up. And Jerry laughs. So Jerry's telling the little kid all this personal stuff. Jerry's telling the kid like all this personal stuff, like about like him and his fiance and his relationship with his dad. And then the little kid goes, my dad died.
Kids. They just say all these random things, and sometimes they're too real.
Sometimes they're just a little too much.
Yeah.
And then he goes, and then my mom took me to the zoo. And I love the zoo now. And then Jerry goes, Ray, I want to talk about my dad. Can we focus? And he goes, no, Jerry, let's go to the zoo. I want to go to the zoo now. And then Jerry starts laughing. And he's like, you're right, And he keeps confiding in him. He's like, no more talking. Let's go to the zoo. And Jerry's like, Ray, the fucking zoo's closed. And Ray's like, oh. And Jerry's looking at him. He's like, you said fuck. And Jerry's like, I'm sorry. He goes, don't worry. I won't tell. And then you hear his mom. He's like, I got to go. My mom's coming. He's like, but Ray, wait. I didn't say bye. He's like, I got to go. My mom's coming. And he runs off. All right. So Dorothy comes in. She's like, I got you some drinks. And I called a cab. And he's like, okay, good. He goes, well, let me just.
I thought she put on the sexy shirt.
She did, but she don't want to let him. She clearly wants to let him know, like, I'm not fucking you.
All
tonight.
right, Dorothy.
Oh, this is where you have your problem with her. That she decided for no dick tonight.
She could have worn the turtleneck.
She could have. Yeah, turtleneck's still sexy.
True.
I like a good turtleneck, you know.
That's true.
She cheers him. Like they start talking. He's like, all right, a little speech before I go. He goes, Dorothy, don't worry about your future. You and your son are going to be fine. You still have a job. But let me tell you something about Jerry fucking Maguire. You come after me, you lose. I'm a survivor. He goes, I am. And he starts staring at the goldfish that he stole that one day. And he's like, I am fucking drunk. And he sits down. She starts putting aloe on his cut. And she tells him, like, how like, I don't really care about money. I just want to be inspired. And that's why I quit my job for you. That's why I'm working for you.
Whatever.
She's like, that memo.
She's like,
what?
I don't know what that means or what I'll be doing, but as long as he's there, I'll come.
Yo!
That's what she said.
Talk that shit, Dulce! So she's like saying all that stuff, like, I loved your memo and how much it meant to me, yada, yada. And then right then he goes in and he starts kissing her. And she's kissing him, but she's kind of backing up. And then he starts like grabbing on her titties. And then she like stops him. And you hear a cab honk outside, and he's like, I'm sorry about my hand. And she's like, it's okay. And then they get up, and he goes, oh, you know that feeling where you're not completely embarrassed, but you know tomorrow you're going to be really embarrassed? And she goes, don't worry about it, boss. He goes, oh, shit, you call me boss. Okay. And he goes, I'm harassing you, aren't I? And she goes, look, it's fine. He goes, oh, my God, I feel awful. And she goes, well, I won't sue. And she laughs. And he goes, oh, God, good evening. He goes, Dorothy, I'm going to take my one client, and we're going to go all the way to the top. She goes, okay, bye.
He's so sloppy and messy.
Jerry Maguire's messy?
Yes.
He can't be alone.
But also the drunkenness, he has cocaine behavior.
Very much. I feel like all agents have cocaine behavior.
True.
It's a very cocaine job.
Yeah.
Because it's all glad handing and bullshit. And you got to be up for your client at like all hours.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very fun to me. No naps.
Do you have to take a nap every day?
Yeah.
Me too.
It's great.
I have to take a nap, even if it's just a small one.
People in Europe shut down the whole city for naps.
Because naps are fucking important, dog. And they should be national holidays.
I know.
Every day. I agree with you. So the next day, Jerry goes and he watches Rod practice, and Rod looks great. And he talks to the owner, and he's like, says like he wants a big contract, and the owner's like, all right. So they're calling the phone, and he's like, yo, we want $10 million for the next 4 years. Like, that's what our boy Rod deserves. And the guy's like, hell no, Rod has an attitude problem, and he's shrimp. He's a small receiver. He's like, but he broke all your records last year. You owe him money. And he's like, I don't want him, though. I want a prototypical tall receiver. He's small. And I want somebody who doesn't bitch in the locker room like Rod does. And he's like, look, I'm asking you for a favor. I introed you to your wife. You know, we spent Christmases together. It's me, Jerry. You know, I need a favor, please. And the guy's like, whatever. And he hangs up on him. Right? So Jerry's hanging out at the showers waiting for Rod. And Rod comes out naked. Like, it's actually naked Cuba Gooding Jr. Okay? And he goes, I was talking about your negotiations this morning, Rod. And the talks went, and then right then Rod goes, talking? Jerry Rice, Andre Reed. And you're talking. And those are like superstar receivers. His point was like, they don't have to like negotiate. They just get paid.
Yeah.
You know? And then he goes, they make the Quan, and you're just talking. And Jerry's like, Quan? What's the Quan? He's like, oh, a lot of dudes have the coin, but I have Quan. He goes, the Quan it means love, respect, and the dollars. It's the entire package. The Quan. And Jerry's like, that's a great word. And he goes, do you want a towel, by the way? And he's like, no, I like to air dry. And you just see him keep walking, and you see like his butt cheeks. And he goes, listen, Rod, and I say this with respect. Those players that you mentioned are marquee players. And Rod's like, what the fuck? I'm not marquee. He goes, look, Rod, you want more. Why don't you just show the love for the game and bury your attitude for 1 second? And he's like, you're telling me to dance. I don't motherfucking dance. And Jerry's like, fine. He goes, man, will you just help me help you? I'm out here for you. Help me help you, please. And he starts begging Rod, please let me help you. And Rod starts laughing. He's like, help me. Jerry, you my nigga. I fuck with you. He goes, but you're hanging on by a thread. And I dig it. And he's like, oh, see you in L.A. And then Cuba's like, he's like, Jerry storms off annoyed. He's like, that's the difference between us, Jerry. You think we arguing. I think we finally talking. And Jerry leaves, right?
That's why you won't get a contract.
Exactly.
He arguing with everyone.
Dulce is picking up on everything. And I fucking love it. So the next day, Dorothy's there, right? And they're all in an office meeting, and it's Jerry and Dorothy. And she's like, yo, the Arizona owner called, and he said that you're going to be glad with the contract. And he's like, glad or happy? And he's like, he said glad. He's like, okay, glad is good. And then he starts to apologize for the other night. And he's like, I've been reliving in my head, and I was lonely, and I just felt you understood something, and I'm so sorry. And I'll never take advantage of you in that way again. And then she goes, okay, well, you know what? I think I should leave because you need to be alone. And I think that's, what's wrong right now is you just need to be alone, and I'll go be alone, and we'll just be alone. And she turns to walk away. And then he goes, you want to go to dinner tonight? And she's like, I know a great place. So cut to, they're at the house. And the divorce, remember that divorcee meeting?
Yeah.
That's happening again. And Jerry walks in. He's like,
is the sister in that meeting?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
So she walks in, and Jerry's like, yo, hello, I'm looking for Dorothy. And they're like, oh, she's in the kitchen. So Laurel goes in the kitchen with her. And Jerry comes in, and there's a dude there who's like a nanny. But he's like, Jerry's like, so you're the nanny? And he's like, I'm an au pair, right? And
is that what they're called, male nannies?
I think Sam was an au pair. I think that's when you live with them, right? No, I thought an au pair meant live in.
I had one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
With your no babies? You don't have any babies.
No, I had one when I was a kid.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm a fucking idiot. That makes way more sense.
It's not bougie in Venezuela. Everyone has one.
Sam's talking shit. Shut up, Sam. Leave Dulce alone.
I did grow up comfortable.
So, Jerry's talking to the dude, and then right then Ray comes in. He's like, Jerry, and he's like, hey Ray. He's like, I got you a bunch of gifts, buddy. And he gives him like a T-shirt and a hat and like all this cool stuff. And the Renee Zellweger is just like smiling, right? And she's dressed so hot. And he looks at her and he's like, damn. And he's dressed like underdressed. He's like, I didn't know we were gonna dress like this. She's like, don't worry about it. She's like, I just want an evening with adults. Like very like single mom shit. She's like, I just wanted to dress up. And Ray asks the little kids, like, can I come too?
Hell no, Ray.
And that's what she says. She says, you're not fucking up mama's pussy tonight. That's what she says. And she's like, no, you're gonna stay with Chad. You're gonna be a good boy tonight, right? And he goes, well, okay, well, Jerry, can I get a hug? And the mom's eyes go like that, right? And Jerry's like, okay. And Jerry hugs him, and the sweet music starts playing. And then the little boy gives him a kiss on the cheek.
Aww.
And Jerry smiles really big. And the mom like almost starts crying. Like Renee, she's such a good actress. Like she literally was like holding it in. So they head out for their date, and the older sister's like, hey, you forgot something, come here. And she turns around, and when she turns around, they come back. And the sister's like, she's like, all right. The older sister's like, calm down. And then she's like, I've never seen him kiss another man besides his father. And she's like, hey, don't cry on the beginning of the date. You cry at the end of the date. That's when I do it, okay? And she's like, okay, get it together. She's like, all right, you're going to be fine. And then she walks off, and there's happy music playing, and the sister's watching as they hold hands as they walk off, and the sister's like, fuck. Right?
She's like, she's finally going to join my meetings.
Yo, Dulce. You're fucking, I'm not even going to say it, but wow, very spot on. So they go on a date. They're talking about their exes and yada, yada. And Renee, like they're talking, and then Renee, like he asked, like, what about like your ex? And then Renee goes, let's not tell our sad stories tonight. Like, let's not talk about that. Because her husband died. Remember the dad?
Yeah.
And so she goes, I'll be right back. So she goes and she calls and checks on her son. And then she's looking at Jerry at the table, and she's clearly just like in love with this dude. Okay? So they get home, and he's like, that was such a great night. He's like, I'll see you tomorrow. And then he leans in, and then he stops. He's like, I'm sorry. And then she's like, she grabs him and she kisses him. Okay?
Dorothy.
They make out super hard. And he rubs her face, and she has like a little shawl on her shoulders, and he takes it off. And like the straps on her shoulders pop, and they both start laughing. And he's like, let me fix this. And he starts kissing all on her neck, and she's like, oh my God. Right? And then she goes, I think you shouldn't come in. And then he keeps kissing on her neck, and she's like, or come in. Just, I guess it depends on how you feel.
Depends how Ray feels. He's gonna be like, hey, like coming into the bedroom.
True. And then she's like, all right. And he goes, all right, I'll come in. So they keep kissing. And she's like, good. She rushes in. She looks at the au pair. She's like, how was it tonight? He's like, oh, he was great. We had such a good time. And he's like, how's your date going? How'd your date go? And she's like, going. And he goes, oh. Right? So he comes outside. And then he looks at Jerry. He's like, you know, she's a good girl. And Jerry's like, yeah. He's like, you got to take care of her. And he's like,
he's in love with her?
Clearly. And he's like, Jerry's like, yeah. He's like, I know this is awkward, but I need you to do something for me tonight. And he reaches in his bag, and Jerry's like, wait, please don't. Oh, God. And he pulls out like a little mixtape. And he's like,
no.
Yes. And he goes, this is Miles Davis and John Coltrane, two masters of their time, playing the only true American art form, jazz. And he's like, okay. He's take it. Trust me. He has it, right? So cut to, like, Renee is in the bathroom, and she's getting sexy. She's got, like, on some lingerie. She's like nervous, clearly. And then she opens the door, and then Tom Cruise is standing there, and bro, just undershirt and underwear, and like he's smiling. And he looks good. I'll give him that. The boy looked good. And she like slams the door like, oh God, right? And then she opens the door again, and he's just laughing. And then she rips his shirt off, his body's banging. And then they go at it on the bed. And you hear jazz music playing in the background while they're going at it. And they finish, and they're staring at each other. And they're staring at each other for a while. Like just in each other's eyes. And then he finally goes, what the fuck is this music? And then they both just laugh, right? They laugh and laugh. And the sister is up all night smoking, just worried, hearing them laugh, clearly listening to them fuck the whole thing. Okay?
She's my favorite.
The older sister?
She's so stressed for no reason.
Bro, stressed. Dog, so stressed.
It's about the journey, not the destination.
Goddamn right. So the next morning, the alarm goes off. Okay, and our boy wakes up. It's like 7 in the morning, and he's looking at himself, and he's in the bed, and he's like disappointed in himself. You know, Dorothy and her sister are already up in the kitchen waiting for coffee, and Dorothy's just smiling, and the sister's like, oh. And the sister goes, okay, just tell me one thing, and she's like, nope, not telling you nothing. And then she goes, why are you even asking? She's like, because I'm worried. You're putting all your faith in this fucking guy. We don't even know him. And then she's like, what? So does that make me a bad person? Look, I found someone and I loved him, and that person died. Okay? And I let him go finally. And when everything in my body is telling me this guy is the one, okay? Don't come at me like this.
She's saying this in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And the sister goes, all right. I just wanted the fun details anyway. And she goes, well, I'll tell you this if you're interested. She goes, what? She's like, I was going to probably tell you anyway. You see Jerry walk up. Now he's like in the hallway walking up. And she goes, Laurel, I love him. And he hears this. And she's like, what? The sister goes, what? She goes, I love him. I love him. I love him. I love him for the man he is. I love him for the man he wants to be. I love him with our son. I think he's a perfect father.
Our son?
Yeah, like all that shit. Like I love him so much. All this shit, right? And then while she's saying all this, Ray is in the hallway, and Ray goes, hi, Jerry. Good morning. And they are in the kitchen like, oh. And then she's like, please tell me he's not outside. And then the sister goes and looks, and she's like, he's not outside. Right? And then Jerry walks up, and he's like, easy, ladies. Everybody relax. And Ray goes, Jerry, can we have Apple Jacks? He's like, hell yeah, let's get some Apple Jacks. He's like, morning, sweetie. And he kisses Dorothy, and he's just real sweet. Right? And then Ray's like, what are we doing today, Jerry? He's like, well, we got a big fax coming in, buddy. We need this contract. We need this commission. We need it. He's like, cool. And then she smiles even big, like, oh, this guy is so amazing. Right? So they get to the office, like where they're waiting for the contract, and she's looking at him. She's still all starry-eyed. And she's like, oh, you were so great this morning. And he goes, yeah. Let's just focus on the offer.
No.
Dulce's like, this is my nightmare. I thought we were good.
Never say I love you first.
Ooh.
Or when they're in the same place.
So they're at work. And he says that, right? And he goes, he hands her like all the donuts. And he's like, can you set this around and like organize it? And he walks off. And she's like, right? So they're waiting for the contract. They got Marcy and Rod. They're in the room. And the contract comes in, and Jerry gets pissed. And he's like, fuck. And it's 1.7 for 3 years. And remember, they wanted $10 million for 4 years. So that's very not the same. Okay? And then he's like, what the fuck, Jerry? And the wife starts going off. She's like, we owe more than that? What the fuck? I need to get Bob Sugar on the phone. Like, where's the other agents? Because you can't get shit done, apparently. And the Rob's like, Marcy, don't, he's like, no, she needs, like, I'm pregnant. I'm too much for this shit, And while she's going off, she's like, what do you stand for, Jerry? What do you stand for? And then Dorothy, because, she loves Jerry, she goes, well, why doesn't he stand for a little integrity? He's not yelling, show me the money all day. He's a real man who cares about his clients. He's broke, and he's working for you for free. That's how much he loves your husband. And then Marcy's like, damn, She's like, I'm sorry, I'm just, I'm not as good at insults as you, right? And she's like, oh, that was pretty good. And then Rod goes, look at me, Jerry. Tell me what to do. You're my guy. If you tell me to play this shitty contract, I'll play it. And then the wife goes, no, honey, no. What you're going to do is you're going to finish out your shitty contract now. You're going to go into you're going to dominate this year, go into free agency, and you're going to get paid. This is us. We don't need to worry about anybody else. You're a strong, proud, surviving black man. And I love you. And he's like, baby, I love you. And he starts kissing on her. And she's like, oh, and they just start kissing. And like, clearly they're so in love. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Jerry goes, Rod, if you get injured, you get zero money. Like, you're just fucked. And he's like, it won't happen. I got a strong mind. He's like, Rod, this is a big risk. He goes, yo, bet on me. I bet on you. You bet on me. And he's like, oh, they shake hands. He's like, And him and his wife start kissing. He's like, baby, I love you. She's like, I love you so much. And then Renee and Jerry Maguire is kind of looking at each other like awkwardly, right? So Dorothy says after the meeting, she goes, look, Jerry, this was fun, but I'm taking a job in San Diego. You can't afford me. I need to move on with my life, right? He's like, don't leave. Please, please, please. We'll stay afloat. She's like, oh, like maybe, okay? So the next day, Rod's on a commercial, but he doesn't want to do the commercial. He doesn't he's arguing back and forth with the director. He doesn't want to do it. And, he's just being like how he is. He's just he's like an asshole.
Diva.
He's a diva. He's just a big time diva. And then he leaves with him. And then, so, Jerry's like, I shouldn't have got you in this commercial. Don't worry about it. It's whatever. He's like, I did need this commission. Like, she's going to leave me. He goes, really? He goes, yeah, Rod. Can I ask you a question? And then Rod goes, oh, we friends now? He goes, yeah, we friends. Let me ask you something. He goes, what? He goes, what do you know about dating a single mother? He goes, I was raised by a single mother. I know everything about a single mother. And then he goes, well, after this job in San Diego, after this, I know she's going to take that job. I don't think she wants to date anymore. And he goes, well, single mothers, first off, don't date. They don't have time for that shit. They've been to the circus. They've seen the puppet shows. They know their strings. And he goes, okay. And then Rod goes, well, do you love her? And then Jerry's like, well, how am I supposed to know that? He goes, what the fuck you mean how you supposed to know? You either know, when you know. He's like, well, I don't want her to go. I love hanging at her place. And he's like, whoa. He's like, bro, you've been hanging at her place? He's like, that is not fair, man. A single mother is sacred. You got to have that kind of talk with her. Like, if she loves you and you don't love her, you got to tell her. There's a kid involved. He goes, Jerry's like, I know, and the kid's amazing. He's like, look, I feel you, dog, but you can't be shoplifting the pootie from no single mother. He's like, I didn't shoplift the pootie. And he looks at him, and he's like, maybe I shoplifted the pootie, right? So the next cut to, we're about to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back. Hey. This is an ad. That's what this break in the movie is for, because it's an ad. Hi, guys. My name's Deric Poston.
And I'm Sam Lopez.
And do you like T-shirts?
I hope you do, because
we got on the best T-shirts you'll ever find. Hidden Village Customs. I'll do the Sam, why don't you go show them and I'll do the ad.
Okay, you do that.
Hidden Village Customs, guys. The best shirts since shirts were made. Our boy Gabe makes these amazing shirts. They're literally awesome. He crosses anime with real life, and it's fucking amazing. Like, this shirt is Hey Arnold mixed with me and Sam doing the podcast literally on this couch while also wearing shirts of Hidden Village Customs. That's how meta this fucking shirt is.
And also in the shirt that I'm wearing on mine, the shirt we're wearing in that is also another Hidden Village Custom shirt. See how
I know.
I'm wearing a shirt and then inside that's another. It's going to be.
I want it to keep going. So we want at some point it to just keep, they just keep going and going and going and going. And it's just a million pictures inside a million pictures.
So buy their shirts, because then they'll keep sending us shirts.
Yep, buy their shirts, guys. Hidden Village Customs, www.hiddenvillagecustoms.com. They make amazing shit. I seriously, Sam already washed them. They don't shrink. The print doesn't fade. That's my favorite part of it.
They're very
of any
soft.
shirt. extremely soft, great quality. Sam was wearing her Tom Brady one yesterday anyway for a show.
Yeah, I was wearing it around the house
Around the
without
house,
a bra.
that's right.
That's the other
Without
great
a
thing.
bra.
These the square icon, like if you're like, I don't want people to see my nipples,
Yeah.
it prevents that.
Yep. So you can walk around without a bra, ladies. That's another plus. Hidden Village Customs, guys. They're from the Bay Area. So if you're a Bay Area beaner, if you're in the Bay Area bean mafia crew, go show our boys some love, especially. Hidden Village Customs on all social media platforms. The best shirts in the business, the best graphic design in the business. Go hit them up. Get your shirts now from Gabe at Hidden Village Customs. Not a pedophile, just a good man selling shirts. Now he tells me to say that, which makes me wonder things. But again, he probably just wants everybody to know that he's not. But who knows? Gabe, Hidden Village Customs. Go show him some love. Sam,
Yes.
I was smoking some weed earlier,
Yeah, you were.
and I only smoke one weed,
It's the best weed.
and that's Happy Canary.
Happy Canary.
Happy Canary, guys. Best weed since weed.
Since weed.
Guys, they're a wholesale company run by our boy Gabe. Now, you can't buy from them. That's not their thing. What they do is they sell to other dispensaries. So I'm just supporting them. So
Follow
when they
them
are-
on
follow them on
Instagram.
Instagram, though. Happy Canary, HappyCanary, CANARY, and you tell them the Bean sent you. Happy Canary on Instagram, guys. Happy Canary. Go show them some love. It's the best weed. That's why I smoke it. It's the only weed I smoke. Shout out to my boy Hayden. Shout out to Maine. Shout out to all the Maine Bean Mafia. Shout out to everybody in Maine who fucks with us. Shout out to her Uncle Leo who let us stay at his cabin. Maine is awesome. Weed is awesome. Happy Canary, guys. Sam? Football is upon us.
Yo, it's football season. It's about to happen.
about to
Is it
happen.
preseason yet?
Almost. There's no preseason this year, I don't think.
Oh, really? I've started seeing the football players for the college around town.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice.
Yeah,
It gets
bro.
me excited.
Seeing the Longhorns, seeing some Texas Longhorn college players.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to a lot of games this year, so we're really pumped. But I love football because of one man who is a war eagle.
War Eagle!
War eagle! And that's Darren Bates. Guys, Darren Bates, he's black, he's a father, he plays in the NFL.
What more could you ask for?
What more can you ask for out of a person? And all he wants from you, he doesn't want you to buy anything. He doesn't want your money. He doesn't want your soul. All he wants is you to go to his Instagram, Darren Bates, DarenBates, at Westlandson _56. Beautiful picture of his mother. That's his profile. Blue check mark. That's him. Darren Bates. And all he wants you to do is hit the follow button.
Send him a message. Say, hey, the Bean sent me.
Simple. All right? Ask for us pictures of Hassan's feet.
He's got those.
He's got those. Make sure you ask for him. Guys, Darren Bates, go show him some love. Follow him, and you say the Bean sent you there. And you let me know you did it. You make sure you do it. That's your one job. If you haven't done it yet, you better fucking do it.
Better
It's the
listen
only
to
thing
his
I'm asking you.
podcast.
Listen to his podcast, The Raw Room, guys. Available on all platforms. However you're listening to this podcast, you go listen to The Raw Room. He's had unbelievable guests. He's had Malcolm Butler on. He's had Jason Weaver, the guy who did all the original songs in The Lion King. You know what I mean? He just had Will Compton on. He just did Bussin' with the Boys. You know what I mean? Guys,
He's a cool dude.
biggest podcast on Barstool, and my boy Darren Bates just did it. He's in the NFL. He's the fucking man. I'm so proud of him. His second career is going even better for him. The podcast is growing. He's getting better with it. The clips are coming out. Go follow The Raw Room. Go follow Darren Bates. Go show our boy some love. Back to the movie. And we're back. Dulce had to pee.
Yeah, I did.
All of her business is out there, literally, in our toilet.
Jeffrey's toilet.
Jeffrey's toilet, to be exact. So he loses that commission, and the next day, our girl Dorothy is packing up a U-Haul. She's moving to San Diego. Okay? She's talking to her sister. She's like,
What does Dorothy do?
she's an accountant
Oh, okay.
for sporting agencies.
Okay.
So that's why she's like, you can't afford me. I can just go get another job, So Jerry's packing up all Dorothy's stuff. And the sister is inside telling her, like, hey, when you say bye to him, just be quick. Get out of here. Like, he's going to throw a Hail Mary pass. Don't let him do it. All right? And then she's like, you're doing the right thing. You need to start your life. He just needs a warm body next to him. Don't be that person. It's a real sister.
Yeah, that's
She's like,
true.
all right, I love you. They hug, okay? Jerry's looking at Ray, and he's like, Ray, well, I'll see you I'm going to come visit you next week in San Diego, okay, buddy? Ray is bawling, crying, okay? And he's like, you're going to make a lot of friends there, and I'll see you soon, right?
The San Diego Zoo is dope, so he'll love that.
Me and Sam never went. We're so stupid. We lived there for so long and never went.
It's cool.
I know it's like the best one in the world too. So Ray is crying and he looks at Jerry and he says, "Just go ahead and go already." And he like rolls like closes the door. And Jerry kisses him on the head and he feels terrible. And she comes out and he's like, "So you sure you're okay to drive?" She's like, Yep, I'm good. He's like, "I'll see you this weekend, you know? I'll make sure I come." And she's like, "Yeah, I'll see you in a few days." He's like, "I love you." And she's like, no, she says, she goes, "You know I love you, Jerry." And then he's like, "Yeah, you know, love you too." Like how he does.
this?
Yeah, doesn't do it like, but pretty says it like that. And then they kiss, and then she goes, "Look, just if this weekend doesn't happen and you don't come, and it turns into a month, and the month turns into a year or whatever, don't make a joke of your life, Jerry. You're better than that, and you're better than all the rest of them, and don't you ever forget it." And then she kisses him on the cheek, and she goes to leave, and he goes, "Wait." And then you see the sister watching from inside, and she's like, "Oh no." He goes, I know a way to save on your medical and save on your rent. What if we got married?
Married?
And she's like, "What?" He goes, "Would you stay?" She goes, "Don't say that. I mean, not unless you want to say that." And he looks at her and he smiles, and he looks at Ray and he smiles, and he's like, "Will you marry me?" And she doesn't say anything, and he grabs her shades. She has shades on, he takes them off, and she's just crying. And she nods her head, yes. And they hug and kiss, and Ray's all excited, and then she runs back in the house. She's like, "Laurel, we're getting married." And Laurel's like, "Great."
We need Avery to come back out and punch him in the face again.
Yo, this dude cannot be alone, bro.
No.
It's almost terrifying how much you can't be alone.
I'm Dorothy, and you and Sam are the sister.
That is very true. So, cut to the marriage. You just need a son. Or you're Ray. You're Dorothy and a little bit of the son.
Yeah.
So, cut to the marriage. They're already getting married. They're wedding and all. And Ray's the ring bearer. So cute. And, like, "I now pronounce you husband and wife." They're at the reception. Cuba Gooding's there, and he's singing, like, "Mother, mother." And I got everybody dancing. "There's far too many of you crying." And everyone's laughing. Everyone's having a good time. Jerry's face is terrified. Okay?
Jerry.
Later, Dorothy comes up, and she's so happy, and they're cleaning up everything. And she's like, "We did it, Jerry." And he's like, "Yep, sure did." And he walks off. And he goes and gets a beer, and the sister's having a beer, right? And they're looking at each other, and she says, like this, like cheers with him, and they cheers, and he smiles, and she's like, "You fuck this up, and I'll kill you." And she walks off. I feel it because it's like, bro, I didn't want her marrying your fucking ass.
Yeah, like, don't prove me right.
Don't you? Because also, like, I get her. She's like, "Yo, it's about my nephew. I don't want him seeing like some just man coming in and out who's a piece of shit, treating his mom bad. It's a bad image."
Yeah.
So, cut to them later that night. They're all hanging out watching the wedding tape. And everybody, when the people watching the wedding tape, everybody's laughing, having a good time. But you can see Jerry's face in the video is terrified, like he's nervous. And Rod is looking at him, and he's looking at Jerry, and Jerry still looks nervous in real life. And Rod walks up to him, and he goes, "You didn't have that talk with her, did you?" And Jerry's like, "No." And he goes, "Wow." And he starts laughing. He goes, "Well, this is another way to go, I guess. Marriage, huh? We're going to have a great season." Woo! Cut to them like going through the season. And he's making great catches and just taking big hits, right? His whole family's watching at home, and his little son, like, he makes a great catch, and his little son's like, "That's my motherfucker." And the mom's like, "Hey, boy, come here." And he walks over all scared, and like the whole family's there watching the game. She's like, "Why don't you be the first man in his family not to use those kind of words, okay?" He's like, "Yes, mom." And she's like, "All right, now go give daddy a kiss." And the little kid runs up and he kisses the screen. It's the cute. I was like, bro, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen. And,
Is she still pregnant, or that was the kid?
No, she's still pregnant. That's like a 4-year-old like son they already have. So, cut to Rod in the locker room after the game, and everyone's getting interviewed, not him, though. And he's so pissed. And him and Jerry are leaving the game, and he's complaining about, the QB sucks, and he's throwing bad balls, and nobody cares about me, and I'm not getting my respect, and yada, yada, right? And if you'd have got me my $10 million 3 months ago, this wouldn't have been a fucking problem. Like, I'm your whole fucking client roster, and you couldn't get that done. He's like, "What are you doing here anyway?" He's like, you don't have any good news. Go home to your wife. Why are you here?" And then Jerry's like, "Oh, I'm here for you." He's like, "Man, you don't want to go home." And Jerry's like, no. He's like, "Man, you've been out with me every weekend, and you don't have to be. How's your marriage, Jerry?" how's the husband and wife thing? And he's like, why did you get married? He goes, I'm asking as a friend. And then Jerry's like, all right, you'll be my friend? Fine. Because of loyalty. She was loyal. And Rod's like, okay. He goes, and then everything kind of grew from there. He's like, well, it's not a sexy answer, but I guess it is an answer. And he walks off laughing. And then Jerry's mad now. He's like, I'm always happy to entertain you, Rod. But I have a question for you. Since we're friends, right? We're being friends? And then Rod's like, why not? We're friends. He's like, okay. I'm going to tell you why you don't have your $10 million. You want to know? He's like, yeah, I do want to know. He's like, well, right now, you're a paycheck player. You don't play with any heart. You just play for money. And nobody wants to see that shit. He's like, in your personal life, with your wife, with your kids, you're with your heart. On the field, it's all about fucking up here and, who did you wrong and who, fucking didn't do this and who didn't do that. And that does not inspire people. Just shut the fuck up. Shut up and play the game. That's what people want to see. And then I'll show you the Quan. How's that for the truth, huh? Can you handle it? Huh? Is that showing you the money? And then Cuba goes, I don't want to be friends no more. He goes, don't be using my word, Quan. That's my word. No heart? No heart? I'm all heart, motherfucker. And he gets on the bus and he leaves, right? Cut to more montage of Rod dominating on the field game after game, but he's taking big hits, all right? He's getting hit really hard all the time. Jerry's at every game, though. You see Dorothy at home alone while Jerry's just at every game. You see him about to call, and then he doesn't call her.
So mean.
Right? Also, it's like, bro, you married her.
Yeah.
She was going to leave. So they're on a double date.
Who? All the four?
All four.
Okay.
The Marcy and Rod and Jerry and his wife. And she's, she's being so sweet to the Marcy's being so sweet to her husband. Like he's eating. She's like, hey, and she slaps his hand. No salt. You got Monday Night Football. I don't want you dehydrated out there. He's like, oh, baby, you love me so much. And they kiss. And then, they're talking and talking and they're just kissing and just being clearly just not paying attention that Jerry and Dorothy are there. And Jerry and Dorothy are getting uncomfortable. And then Regina goes, oh shit, baby. And she goes, what? She goes, no, baby. He goes, yeah, baby.
Oh,
he goes, no, baby. And he's like, oh. And they grab the kids. They rush to the hospital. The next, you see Dorothy and Jerry get home later that night. Dorothy's all pumped. Like, oh my God, that was so exciting. How amazing was that? Like, what did you think? And he was like, all I thought was, God, I hope he doesn't get hurt this season. And she's like, I just can never tell what's going on in your head. And he goes, well, if you ever wonder, just ask me. And she goes, okay, I think I just did. And then he looks at her, and at the same time, they both go, why do you love me? Right? Right then, Ray busts in. And he's like, hey, can I watch? He's like, can I watch TV with you guys? And then she goes, not now. But he goes, of course, buddy, get in here. And then he runs in, and she's so annoyed. Like the fuck, right? Her and her sister talk late night, and she is crying, clearly sad about her marriage. This is not what I wanted. Okay? So cut to the next day. Jerry's in the backyard cleaning up, and he's on the phone with someone telling him, yo, I'm completely free. I can be there whenever. I got nothing going on. Let me know. She's listening to this. And she finally comes outside, and she goes, Jerry, it's my fault. He goes, what? She goes, it's not fair to you, this whole thing. And he sits down. She's like, I took advantage of you. I did it with a kid. I didn't want to be alone. And I was just on this wild ride, and I thought you were the one. I thought if I loved you enough, it would be enough for both of us. And it's not.
Aw, Dorothy.
She said, I pretended that proposal at the car was even real. And she laughed. She's like, can you believe that? That I believe that was a real proposal? And then he looks at her and he goes, she goes, but if I leave now, if I just do what I want to do now, I can do something about my life. And then he's like, listen, I don't run, okay? When I say I'm going to do something, I stick, and I'm sticking. And then she goes, but I don't need you or want you to stick. And then he's like, well, what do you want? You want my fucking soul or something? And then she goes, I mean, maybe I do. What if I deserve it? And then he goes, well, I'm not built that way. And he goes, I'm great at friendship and I'm bad at intimacy. It was the theme of my fucking bachelor party. And she goes, oh yeah, I watched the tape. I have it memorized.
She was there?
No, she said she's just gotten a copy of the tape and watched it a couple times.
God.
That'd be horrible to
That
watch.
tape needs to be destroyed.
It's like The Ring, bro. So she says, yo, if I don't do something about this now, we can lose 10 years of the next 10 years of our life being polite and not in love. And I don't want to do that. And she starts crying. And he goes, what about Ray? And she's like, you'll be friends. And then he starts crying, right? And he goes, so this is really it? You're breaking up with me? And She goes, Jerry, you know this isn't easy. On the surface, everything is fine. I got a great guy who loves my kid. And he sure does like me a lot.
No.
Crying. And she goes, and I'm sorry, I just can't live like that. I'm not built that way. And she kisses him on the forehead and she leaves. And he's just bawling. Okay?
He never learns.
He doesn't. He watches Ray sleep that night. And he's crying, looking at Ray, and he just kisses his head. He doesn't want to leave. He goes to the airport sad. The next day is Rod's big game, right? Rod's got a big game. They're playing on Monday Night Football, and it's for, if they win, they get in the playoffs, right? So it's all on TV. Rod is waiting for Jerry. He's looking around for him. The other agent comes up, the other agent from the beginning who fired him.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, where's Jerry? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, look, I know this is probably uncool, but you belong with the big boys, not with fucking little Jerry Maguire. You need to be with a real agent like me. And then Jerry comes up and he's like, get the fuck away from my guy. Get away from my guy. And he's like, all right. He's like, Rod, give me a call. And then Rod looks at him. He's like, thanks for coming. I almost missed you, right? And they smile. And then Jerry's like, you're all I got, Rod. So the game starts, right? And they're talking on the broadcast booth about how good Rod Tidwell's been this season, yada yada. And if the Cardinals win, they make the playoffs. Everyone at home is watching watching the game, like Rod's whole family again. And one of his brothers keeps kind of slightly dissing him, like, oh man, he better not fuck up tonight. And the wife kind of doesn't say anything but looks at him, right? The game starts. They're going back and forth. We see Rod Tidwell catch a big catch, but he gets hit really hard. And the brother keeps talking shit, and the wife's like, hey, don't talk about your brother that way, right? Hater. He gets hard again. This keeps happening. Rod's son is watching, and he makes another catch. He gets hard again, and his son starts crying. And the mom comes up. She's like, hey, what's wrong? And he's like, nothing. She's like, hey, what does daddy always say? And he's like, it's worse than it looks. Like, no, it's not as worse as it looks. And he's like, that's right. That's my boy. Be strong, right? And then the brother keeps talking shit. And the mom's like, shut the fuck up. Okay?
I was waiting when she was going to pop off on him.
So the next play, he catches a touchdown. The crowd goes crazy. But as he catches the touchdown, Rod, he gets flipped in the air and he lands on his neck. Oh. And he's not moving. Okay? So everybody's celebrating. Everybody's going crazy. And then people are realizing, like, oh, shit, he's not moving. His wife is like, the family's up and down. This scene always makes me kind of cry. His wife's jumping up and down, and then she's like, oh, God, honey, Rod, get up, right? And then she's like, Rod, get up. Rod, baby, right? And then they cut to commercial. She's such a great actress. She starts losing it, crying. And the brother's like, see, I told y'all he was too small. And she's like, shut the fuck up, DP. Shut up. Your brother's been loyal to you. He loves you. He takes care of you. Let you stay here. Get the fuck out of my house. And she starts punching him, like just crying.
Is he dead?
Punching him, crying, right? And then Jerry calls, and Marcy's and she's like, Jerry. And he's like, Marcy, he's unconscious. Just stay calm. Stay calm. I'll call you when I know anything. She's like, no, Jerry, no. I can't stay calm. My whole life is his family, and it don't work without him. And she's screaming. And then they keep checking him on the field, and they're trying to get him to come to. And then he hears, we love you, Rod. And he wakes up, and they're like, Rod, can you hear me? He's like, wait. Let me just enjoy this. And everybody goes crazy. And he stands up, right, and the crowd's going nuts, and he starts dancing and backflipping, and his family's going crazy at the house, right, and everybody's cheering, okay? After the game, people come up to him, they win. He's the player of the game. They're congratulating him. The Arizona owner walks by, the one that was mean, and said he wasn't going to pay him, and Jerry looks at him, and he's like, you owe us. And he's like, I know. I'm sorry. I know, right? Tidwell comes out, and all the reporters and stuff weren't at him, and he was sad because they weren't asking him stuff. Now it's like a million cameras in his face, and everybody's asking him questions, and he just starts crying. And he looks over and he sees Jerry, and Jerry's crying. And they both just walk up. He doesn't answer any of the questions, and he's like, Jerry! And then just hug. And then Jerry's like, you did it. You did it. He's like, we did it, Jerry. And then Jerry right then, he gets a call, and he goes, Dorothy? And then he goes, oh, Marcy! Hey, here. And he hands the phone to Rod, and Rod's like, Marcy, I love you, baby. We did it. We did it. I love you. I love my son. I love our daughter. He's like, I love everybody. And then Jerry's just watching, and he's looking at him, and it clicks. And he takes off running. Just leaves.
To go find her?
And he goes running through the airport, and he lands, and Laurel is having one of her divorcee meetings with all the women. Okay? And they're talking about how men's behavior never changes, yada, yada. You see a taxi pull up outside and Jerry run up. Dorothy is sitting in the meeting as well. And she's like, you know what? I've listened to you guys tell 1,000 sob stories, and I used to be so judgmental of y'all, but maybe you're right. Maybe men are the enemy. And she goes, but God, I love the enemy. And she's like, walks off.
Me.
That's so, that's why I literally, I'm not kidding. This is why I told Dulce this movie. Because
I'm divorced, but I don't have a group.
So she's like, Jerry walks in, and all the women are still yelling and stuff. And he's like, hello? Hello? And everybody gets quiet. I'm looking for my wife. And Dorothy stands up. She's all confused. And he's like, wait. She goes to walk off. He's like, wait. Okay. He's like, if this has to be where it happens, then it happens here. I'm not letting you get rid of me. How about that? And she's like, he's like, tonight, our little project, our company, had a big night. A very, very big night. But it was a complete waste. Because it wasn't nearly as close to the vicinity of even being complete. I couldn't share it with you. I couldn't hear your voice. I couldn't laugh about it with you. I miss you. I miss my wife. And she starts crying. And everyone in the group is like
There's a lot of crying in this movie. Mm-hmm. Nice.
He goes, this is a very famous movie quote. Most people know this.
Okay.
We live in a cynical world. A cynical world. And we work in a business of tough competitors. But I love you. You complete me. And I'm not. And she goes, shut up. Shut up. You had me at hello. You had me at hello. And they all the women start crying and cheering and they kiss. And then one of the women's like, this is the best group we've ever had.
The one that ends with a man.
Hello.
Ironic.
So cut to Rod is on the show, right? And they're talking to him about how hard his life was growing up and yada yada. And he's like, you're trying to make me cry, man. I'm not gonna cry on this TV show. And they're like, well, look, Rod, we just wanted to tell you that you just got a contract and it just came in, and we want to be the first to tell you it's worth 4-year, $11.2 million.
Ooh.
And he just starts bawling, right? And his wife's cheering and his family's cheering. And he's like, oh my God, I love everybody. I love my wife. I love my kids, my brothers, my teammates. And he starts thanking everybody. And he's like, and wait. And Jerry's just over there like so proud of him, like trying to hold back. And he's like, wait, I'm forgetting somebody. And he looks and he's like, Jerry Maguire, my agent. You are my ambassador of Quan, man. And he starts crying and Jerry's just like pointing at him. Cut to that, and later in the park, Jerry and Dorothy and Ray are all walking through the park, and they're talking about going to the zoo. And a ball rolls up, like a baseball rolls over the fence, right? And it rolls up to him, and this little baseball team, like of kids, are like, hey, throw the ball back, kid, throw the ball back. And Ray picks it up, and he throws it far as shit. Like he has a cannon of an arm. And Jerry's eyes get big. And the wife's like, nuh-uh, no. He's like, no, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying we don't put him in the majors, but, they start laughing. It fades to black, and you see his mentor, the one that quoted something in the beginning of the movie, and his mentor says, look, I don't have all the answers in life. To be honest, I failed as much as I succeeded. But I can tell you this. I love my wife, and I love my life, and I wish you my kind of success.
Aww.
Jerry Maguire.
They should have said, show me the heart.
Don't say, show me the heart. Don't say you're too much. Did you enjoy the movie, fam?
Yes.
Who was your favorite character?
The sister.
Laurel?
And Rod.
Rod's great. Like it definitely, when you watch it, it makes a lot of sense why he won the Oscar. He was like, so that guy. Were you expecting this movie to be this romantic?
No. I thought it was like an autobiography or something of someone.
Oh, well, we thought you said you thought it was about Lizzie McGuire's father. As if it's a Miley Cyrus situation.
He would never act like this.
Yo, well, you were fantastic. We'd love to have you back. You'll come back another time?
Yes.
Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Dulce Mac, and I have a podcast called Yeah Podcast, YEAH.
Yeah podcast. Dulce Mac on Instagram. She'll be all like when we post this episode, she'll be all on the page. So go follow her, go show our girl some love. Dude, we love you. You're the best. You are our Jerry Maguire and our Dorothy.
And Fez.
And Fez, you can't be alone, and that's why you're here. And we love you for it. Thank you so much for coming. You're the best.
Love you guys.
Bye, B Mafia. We'll see you in a motherfucking week, son.